I'm Albert Timmon. I'm the president of Kapap Academy. A little bit about myself. I'm a veteran of the Israeli Defense Force. I served in a certain unit that I cannot mention the name or the years that I served, but it's considered to be a special unit that has a special course or a special designation.
My name is Avi Noadia. I was instructor for hand-to-hand in the Israeli Army, in the Israeli Police, and in the Israeli counterterrorism units. I'm into the Kapap. I was the head instructor for the Kapap Federation under Lieutenant Colonel Chaim Pe'er. And today I'm the head instructor for Kapap Academy in the US.
Well, Avi is an older guy than me. I'm the younger generation of Kapap. Avi, I met him in Israel actually, not during my military service. We served in different units, so in different times as well. Avi was already retired from the military when I was still active. And our meeting, or how we came together, is we served also in the police academy, the Operational Fitness Academy. It's called Maskam. It's another block in my career. After the military service, went to the police service, and there I served as a shooting instructor, or tactical shooting, or tactical counterterrorism branch of preparing now the police officers into certain situations that are requiring more or less the same skills that were required for me as a soldier. So my department was the tactical shooting, and Avi's department was the hand-to-hand curriculum and hand-to-hand and combat readiness department. So we served in those departments again in parallel times, and from that time we knew each other. But the synthesis, the actual connection between us was after we both left the service.
My role for Kapap is very, I would say, since Kapap we don't see masters or grandmaster, I would call myself like a developer or progressive guy. I'm trying to progress the Kapap with new information, exposed to new techniques, exposed to new martial artists. We are in a good contact with Hanshi Patrick McCarthy from Australia, which is Aidan for karate, and doing research for karate and application for karate, and how karate can be used as a real self-defense, and all the other aspects of karate. We're working with many great teachers from all over the world in different subjects. We keep progressing the Kapap, and that's my role in the Kapap, to never let it stay what it was, and never let it stay as what it is now.
I left the service in a certain circumstance that last thing that I did in my service was to jump and to catch a suicide bomber alive, strapped with his explosive belt. And I think that for my family it was enough to take that kind of lifestyle, which I'm leaving behind 2 kids and a wife, and doing a crazy job all the time. And so I took off from, I took a vacation, a 1 year off, and we tried something new. And from that 1 year it became more than that, and then I left the service altogether because I felt that I came to the top of my career, and from there I cannot go much more, and I wanted to explore new directions in life.
I think that one thing that I like is to be a free man, and I would say that I'm completely not a military person. Many times people call me sir, or because my rank is a major in the army, and for me everything was a circumstance. When I was 5 years old, I played in the sand with my brother, and suddenly we see MiG that had a fight with Israeli aircraft over our house, and we see it, and we see that's how you grow up in Israel. When I was 6, I was putting sandbag in front of windows and tap the windows so the glass will not break. When you live in this kind of environment, you develop a different mentality that I'm happy that my kid don't need to do this mentality today. And I'm not trying to develop, and I'm happy that my father, even he come from the first Israeli Special Force, he never teach us to hate anybody, not because of his color, religion, anything. And I'm happy that I have friends from any religion, any color, any culture. I'm sure that there are much more bad Jewish people that I know as my people. They talk bad for me just because of jealousy. And I have great Muslim friends that even they know I'm Israeli, and even they know I've been in the war in Lebanon in '82. The lady still keep my kid, and I trust her 100%. And I have a photographer that she took our pictures, and they're all great people. Great people you have everywhere, and you have bad people everywhere.
In my time and age, they didn't call it Kapap, they call it Lotar. Lotar is the acronym of counterterrorism, Lochama Neged Terror, and in Hebrew translates to Lochama Neged Terror, which is the combatives against terrorism. So it includes a lot of disciplines, it includes a lot of preparation, it includes a lot of interactions with situations that you need to respond based on your instincts, based on the situation itself, the escalation of force, of course, and a lot of variables that you need to work with in an unexpected environment. So in that specific area, more you explore, more you're exposed to situation, more your body learns, more your reflexes are getting sharper, and more you have more experience on how to even engage in any situation. So you need to all the time remain in a balanced mode, because if you're getting too fast to conclusions, that might compromise the task. If you're getting too slow to conclusions, you might compromise your own safety. So it's all the time keeping you the combat mindset, and keeping you as a sharp tool to do a certain job. And then you have to use all the things that you have in your body, in your mind, in your character to carry on with you, and to actually perform and to bring results. And I think this is the best time that I was exposed to concepts of this kind, which are the core things that Kapap is based on. And based on that, I think that I can say that this period of time and that the military service was one of the most important times in my life, in my career, being exposed to the concepts of Kapap.
I want to see the Kapap develop, that every technique that we do today, it will be counter and counter and counter, so we find better solutions, and the technique will be absolutely much better than today. I think that sometimes people get too much sentimentally about the name. So you ask me what is my role about the Kapap, I will tell you, for me you can call it banana dough, and it still be Kapap or banana, but I will teach the same ideas, the same material, and that's why I don't care. I'm not trying to sell the Kapap. This is because this master was the best, and he's the last knowledge around the world. Everyone other than him are completely unknowledge, and he knew everything. Of course, he passed me the knowledge, but now it's good he's dead, so please ask me. This is not the goal of Kapap. Kapap admit that we have not the absolute knowledge, but we admit that we're also looking for the truth. We don't say that or claim that we found it.
Mine and Avi ways crossed together, and Avi then was engaged with the group of the Kapap Association in Israel, was in 2001 when they founded the association in Israel, the Kapap Association, and the actual acting leader of the Kapap Association was Lieutenant Colonel Chaim Be'er, which the group was based in Tel Aviv. I was between Israel and the United States, where I got my opportunity to come and to work. And the idea was to bring together the people that are involved in the same type of profession, as I can say, as a group. So all the people that I knew through Avi and Avi knew through my connections started to come together as a group, as a think tank. And then the idea of expanding this idea beyond the boundaries of Israel came into the play, and then we decided to take it to the next step and to found the Kapap Academy in United States. I can say that the Kapap Academy officially started in 2005 in the United States. I was still in transitioning between Israel and the United States because of my status back then. And finally, when we had all the things in place, we started the foundation of Kapap Academy. And since I felt that I want to take a deeper involvement in that area, we decided together, all the group of people in Israel and with us together, that I will take also the acting role of the president of Kapap Academy. As we all know, Israel is located in the Middle East, and we have a lot of friendly, unfriendly environments, and military is not a sterile environment, and you have to do a lot of jobs which require a different aspect of combat mindset or readiness, or even to different approach even about life. So all the courses that you do during your service and your life in that period are targeted towards building you up as a combatant. So in other terms, they make you a soldier, but not a regular soldier like the regular military that you go and you have like a frame. My unit specifically was deployed in different locations which are like high risk, basically tracking and hunting down wanted terrorists with how we call it, with blood on their hands. It means that they've been responsible for murders and other terrorist attacks on civilians and non-combatants. So my designation was to work in that frame, and our unit was deployed in that high-risk zone, which it's unfriendly. It means that you don't work as a group, you work as an individual, or you're more based on your own skills, your own skills development and your training, and that's what is your only tool. Sometimes to resort to lethal force is too easy, and the task requires a lot of preparation, mental preparation, and sometimes the definition of the task is just to go and bring the person alive without the need to engage him or to hurt him, or just for the sake of bringing more valued information and just to have the next step on hunting down other criminals, terrorists, or combatants. One of the principles of Kapap is the push and pull principle, which is based also on 2 points of contact. These two things combined are very powerful for the practitioner, because it gives you a lot of opportunities to manipulate and to do a lot of things that you can in the fight with these two small and simple characteristics.
When you want to apply for technique, you have to make sure that you have 2 points on the object and more. That will help you to take him out of balance and to take him down. If I take, for example, the hand, and it's no matter if you hold me, then this is the first point. I can hold him, for example, which is the same. It's no matter if you hold me or I hold him. But right now, if you hold me, that's already giving me the first point. So I have to look for the second point. The second point, for example, will be here. When I hold the second point over here, I can immediately take him down by applying for a second point. Now if you see, I pull and I push down. That's what gives me a lot of power, that I have the leverage of 2 points to create the momentum, and I have 2 points. Of course I can do it aggressively. Of course I can do it with a smack and do it over here. I can do it with a more rotation for the elbow. When I get to technique, I can do it with my shoulder. I can do it from different angles, like the guy hold me like 2 hands on my neck, and I can, for example, do those things, and again, apply 2 points, one here, to take him out. Based about the T, that every human being has up T and down T. And I have to cross the T. If I do it from standing, I'll take him down. Now we try to analyze gun technique, and if you see, when I do this, I don't have 2 points, I have only 1 point. When the guy pull back as retaining the gun to his hip, you back yourself to be in a danger. Sometimes even you'll see techniques that when the guy, he do this, he tried to start to hit him. This reaction of hit him immediately create a move that might again traumatic, and the bullet is stronger than you, and by even you knock him down, his finger is still here. When he go down, he'll shoot you. So when you analyze the technique, you have to judge, do I have 2 points? And for example, do I have now 2 points? I have this one and I have this one. I ask him, even I don't get deep, let's say that I'm only here, and I ask Tex to take the gun as you see, I'm still not in a danger, but if I hold it as strong as I want, and now I start to fight, you get the problem. This is why you want 2 points. Once you have 2 points, it's easy. Try to take, easy. Once I want to create the leverage, I have already the 2 points to take it out. So when you go to judge technique, even with weapon, you have to judge, do I have 2 points? That can fail a technique. Technique can be failed. In different situations, technique will be failed. It don't mean that you cannot win a fight with the wrong technique or just a punch like this, but that's not a properly punch.
Okay, just another example, kind of a technique that combines all of them together. The push and pull, the 2 points of contact, the triangle or angle. Without getting into proper footwork or everything, we're gonna work based on the number 1 strike, the basic swing, pretty much. Block it, grab the stick. Now, this is when I actually have my first point of contact, my second point of contact. You can see 1 and 2. The second thing would be to create the triangle angle. As I manipulate, I'm changing the force from a higher triangle into a lower triangle. But you see here, it's all about a triangle angle. Creating leverage. If I'm too far away, he might have the upper hand when it comes to a stronger leverage. I just bring myself in. As you can see, I create triangles, creating a stronger angle. 1 point of contact, second point of contact, and I strip it away.
We talked a little bit about takedowns from the standing. We talked a little bit about weapon, and you will see that slowly you will start to look about technique that you already maybe know, and it will help you to understand and to correct them, because now you start to see the principle. And we talked about again about the principle of the T's, and now I'm going to use the same principle of manipulate the T. One come forward, one come the other side, and what I will do, I'll put one hand over here and one hand over here, because the leg connected to the down T, and by doing this, I'll take him and do a balanced displacement. How this can help us? For example, he hold me in a guillotine, and I can take him to this direction by putting those 2 points. But I already have my point, because when he guillotine me, if you see, my head is the upper point. So I have to put, for the down T, a point, and by pushing this way, again, push and pull, 2 points, and I take him out of balance.
As far as attacks, there is only so many angles that the human body can generate. You know, joints go only certain directions, kicks can go only certain directions. Let's just review some stuff that I bet most of you already know. But to break it down for the concept, because once you break it down to the basic, it's easier to learn and to maintain later on if you got the basic understanding how it works. Okay, so for example, we got the basic punches that are drawn from boxing or from Muay Thai. We got the straight jabs and we got the right cross hand. Those are just 1, 2 down the pipe. It's a straight attack. It's on an angle. It's no angles. It goes straight to my opponent. The quickest, the shortest distance between point A, point B is a straight line, and that is exactly what I'm talking about. If I got my jab right here, I got my right cross. I also got my front kick. Those are direct attacks into my target. The other ones are going to be the circulars coming from the side, whether it's a right hook, a left hook. The uppercuts are kind of like some uppercuts dig in, but they're also coming on a certain angle. Anything that comes from the 360 that we can block with the triangles, up triangle, down triangles, the circular attacks. If you know how to use and utilize those angles, it can work for your advantage. And let me give you the simple example that a lot of you have seen actually in UFCs. Chuck Liddell works that a lot. The straight hand versus the right circular roundhouse kick. Now, Tex here is going to throw a right kick at me from here, and I'm just going to counter it with a straight punch into the jaw area. And you see that actually proven itself very effective, but it's a very simple principle, very simple technique. He's going to throw a kick, I'm going to counter with a punch. The reason it's going to work because he's not throwing a straight kick. If he were to throw a straight kick and I would to counter it with a punch, he's going to have reach on me and distance. But since he's working on a circular motion, he needs to create an angle in order to generate the force and generate power in order to land a good impact. I will take advantage of that distance he needs to go through for me to generate a straight power punch by cutting right into his center line that you probably are familiar from different martial arts. Filipino martial arts, they'll always mention that, Kung Fu. The center line, I'm pretty much going to cut right into the center line and try to beat him to the kick in this case. Okay, so from here, so the kick, boom, straight in. Again, boom, straight in. I will absorb the impact, but you see I make a slight step forward. I'm not going to stand here, right here in the sweet spot, okay? I'm going to move right in with my punch. Also what happens, I move all my force, all my mass in behind my punch. It's not just a hand punch, it's just like a good old right hand boxing with a little bit of footwork into it. Boom, straight forward. Now Tex, if you can just stay here, you can see where my hand is almost crossing him when he didn't fully extend his leg and generate enough power. It's almost I'm passing my target right here. Okay, so by doing that also, weapons go the same thing. If he comes in the circular motion, in a circular attack, I can block, check and block and check and intercept that attack or counter that attack. Of course, later on, I need to move and continue, but just to see, maybe if you can see from this angle, he comes on a slashing attack. That's a fatal attack right there. I need to do whatever I can to intercept it. Even if I didn't check him first, I'm still in. And again, you see a circular motion coming from the side versus a straight line attack, intercepting and exposing his center line. So it can come also from the number 2 attack, the slashing attack from here. I can intercept that, check, and come in. Because of the fact that he's coming from the side, I got the advantage of distance. He has to go for a further, much longer distance that I have in order to create, and later on I can do my thing, disengage, and move on. Okay, also going back into the angles, choosing the right angles, choosing the right weapons, whether you're empty-handed, whether you're fighting with a weapon, choosing the right weapon and choosing the right angle. Same with with hands. So if I'm here with attacks, we're starting here and throwing a punch, it's going to be almost ineffective. But the range, the kicks from the range, if I'm going to throw punches, it's almost going to be not really smart for him, because the minute I close in with the punch, he's going to back me up with the kick. Okay, choosing the right tool for the right mission. If we're here, of course, we definitely end up kicking. It's almost goes straight out the window. It's almost ineffective completely. But then we got the elbows range right here, coming up with elbows. Same thing with weaponry. If you need to take somebody in a long shot, take him out from like 500, 600, 800 yards, you're not going to shoot him with your Glock. If you're going in a house in a high-risk entry, you definitely want to pull your shotgun, your 870, or whichever handgun you got. Something that's going to be for close quarters. Same here with fighting, because the bottom line is fighting. So we're going to just demonstrate, also going back to the angles, how important it is to actually combine footwork. And footwork is angles. You got triangles, you got straight lines, and we got circles. And we usually work off of those, the same concept of angles, straight lines, circles, and triangles. Okay, to demonstrate, we're going to start from here. What I'm going to do is throw a straight hand, and Texas is going to override it with a circular motion. Now we saw before how a straight punch defeats a circular motion. Now we're going to just look the other way around. Okay, so from here, a straight punch comes in, deflects it, comes in with an elbow. Okay, deflecting the straight line, coming over with a circular attack. Okay, the same thing. I'm going to attack with a front kick. He's going to counter, break the angle, and perform a circular counter. From this angle. Okay, you can see how he was breaking the line, breaking the concept. You have to step aside. Same like in boxing, you want to set something up, you want to set a good lever punch, you cannot throw it from the same stance you're standing in a relation to the guy in the center line. You have to break your angle, get in a good reposition, cock your body to generate the energy, and boom, let it go. Again, working on triangles, working on side to side, diagonals, and working on a circular and straight motions. Okay, one of the things that goes along with the angles and choosing the right weapon, it also comes to damage control, especially when weaponry is involved. Some weapons like blades, the most commonly, most accessible weapon out there, is very unforgiving. A lot of people are living in this misconcept that they can, I can disarm this, I know how to disarm that. To disarm a blade, it's probably one of the hardest thing I ever came across. To disarm a blade, only when I got later onto Filipino martial arts, I actually found out how I personally was wrong about my whole concept of disarming a blade. Okay, so let's talk about a little bit of damage control here. We're both having a knife situation now. If I'm gonna cut Tex in a 1-for-1 attack, okay, I slice number 1 to the neck. That's a lethal cut. So let's perform it together. Okay, so a knife fight is never good. Never good. Okay, so damage control. If I'm coming in, I want to break my angle and perform number 1. See what's going to happen here? I'm going to sacrifice my hands and my fingers and try to take whatever I can. Just as a basic example. Damage control. Yeah, I might get stuck a little bit. For example, another stabbing motion from here, I got to move to the side. There is no guarantee, especially if his blade is longer, that the basic scissor motion is going to work. But then again, I might get stuck with 1/2 inch of the blade versus the whole 5.5 inch of the blade. It's all about damage control, choosing the right weapon, estimating your distance. If we're fighting from here, there is no point that I'm going to be in a reverse grip. I want to get, especially if his blade is longer, I want to have as much as reach as possible. Okay, another short review. What we're going to do is also talk about the geometrical shapes of attack. very commonly known in jiu-jitsu, submission grappling. I'm sure what we're going to show is not new to most of you. Just to see how it applies. We talked about straight attack versus circular attack countering the straight attack, and then now what we're going to show is different variation of a very simple release from hold or an attempt to grab on a triangular shape, geometrical triangular shape. Okay, so your average push or punch, one's going to push me or just try to put a hand in order to grab my shirt. If I got enough time and my relative position is good enough, I can have my hands up to defend them. If I'm not by that time in this situation, I'm in deep trouble. So let's go back, get the hands up. I see an attack coming, like Avi was mentioning before in the T. I deflect one, come low, strike back high, and although Martin's a little taller than I am, I still can get that attack. And from here, I got a takedown. Let's do it. Let's see from this angle. Right now. Okay, so from here, deflect, come in here, very similar, slip in a jab, come straight up, and take to the ground, and finish it right there. The triangle, as you can see, is 1, 2, and 3, right here. This is a triangular attack. You can use your neck. Some people, if you got long enough arms, you can grab your own neck from here. Different variations of grabbing the triangle. We're gonna stay on the ground now, performing the famous triangle choke. The sankaku from here, you can see he comes in a straight attack, a triangular attack, intercepting or countering a straight attack. He is choking me from the front, common position. I get him in my open guard. I try maybe to intercept him with a double-handed armbar from here. He pulls out. I set him up for the triangle. Now you can see 1, 2, and 3. I lock, so I got 1 base, 2nd base, and the 3rd base. Applying pressure, and there you have. Okay, let's see from this angle. A straight attack coming, intercepted with a geometrical triangle classic shape. Coming from here, riding high, because I don't know, the guy might be throwing punches. I always rather have my knees in control. Later on I can trap, just in case he punches. Also, you can see the angles, a triangle right here. Okay, there is a triangle for me to defend here, a triangle to defend from there, and I'm closing the triangle. And I can attack on the top platform of it. So, stick to the drill here, going up to doubles. He, of course, counters. I set him up right into the triangle. Set the elbow up, close it, and from here, I got the classic triangle. Okay, and just to say he counters from this hand, put the hand here on the other side. All I gotta do from here, after he sets it up, I can change it, and I still remain in the triangle shape from here. I can do the triangle from sitting down. I can close my legs right here, and I still got a triangle base. Got an arm bar, I got a triangle, but it's in the same basic line.
Let's talk about the concept of relative position. Relative position is very important to understand before we even go to the fight, because it has many features that we need to understand before we go to the actual move. Let's say that Joe here is a threat, and I'm a person that doesn't have any interaction with Joe, and I feel threatened about Joe. Now, if I would stand in front of Joe, this is his center of line, and this is my center of line, so I'm now compromising my own safety, because if he's going to attack me now, and let's say that Joe is throwing a punch, I'm in danger now. He can get to me. But what will happen if Joe go back a little bit? And I'm just feeling that Joe is a threat, and just by moving myself from his line of attack, just moving away, I'm changing my relative position. Even without physical contact or without any compromising myself to his attack, I'm changing slowly my relative position and putting myself in a better relative position if Joe decides to attack me. That means that I can also decide to see what's behind me if I have an outlet, okay? If I have a wall behind me, and relative position goes to many lengths and many depths. And we start with the first relative position is our environment. So first of all, if I'm on the street and I see a threat from afar, I just relate to the threat or to the person that is standing, that I don't feel comfortable to walk on his path, and I'm just changing my relative position even before we approach each other. Second base is if I'm already here in the fight, and now we're talking about the conflict, and Joe is standing and he's throwing punches, that won't be smart for me to stand here, because I'm now fully compromised to his full force of line and center line of attack. If I'm going to change my relative position and position myself over here, already I'm in a better relative position to Joe, because he's already committed to the attack, and in one sweet move I change my relative position altogether. Now I can punch Joe from this side, I can kick, and I do a lot of things to him as a damage. So my relative position will be the best either on his side or to get to his back, which I'm least vulnerable to his line of attack. He can of course come back with an elbow, but he's already committed to the attack, and I'm already here in his best position in his back, which he cannot almost not do anything, and from this position we can control the subject much easier.
We talked about the concept, relative position, and everything. Let's go talk about pretty much our physiology, what's going to happen in certain situation, areas that we do target, and we try to intercept and attack. Like you probably all know, fights in the streets is going to be different than a fight in a ring. Not so many rules. In a fight in the street, anything goes. Anything goes. Although MMA, extreme fight, you still got set of rules. Here we're going to try to attack vital points and what we call sensory points. We all have our 5 main senses, but the thing is, once you attack a sense, it's transmit the brain whatever it tells it to disengage, break contact. We don't want our senses to get damaged. Vision, smell, even taste. How taste, I'll show you in a second. But for example, from the basic choke position, now my opponent is going to choke me from here. I'm going to start by hitting the ears, okay? Coming from the circular angles into the ears. Going from there, ears got a balance of the equilibrium, the center of balance in the ear. In addition to that, he's going to start here, this really high pinched ring in his ear. It's a lot of people get freaked out. A lot of people, they shoot without protection. They do not know how to deal with that. It can drive you nuts especially if you never experienced that before. Especially if the guy's inexperienced, he would not know how to deal with that. So circular coming from the side attack. From here later on, I got the eye, visions. Almost any person that I know if somebody would hurt my vision, I would let go immediately. Whether it's by mace, by impact, by a big flash of light, flashbang, whichever. Okay, the vision is probably the most scary sense to lose in our human body system. 1, 2, straight into the straight line attack from here. Now, also you can see that I can come from cutting the center line, hitting the face. Now here, I was mentioning before the taste. A lot of people that are not used to fighting or not accustomed to taste blood are gonna see and taste blood. The blood get this little, kind of like reminding of metal taste into it. They're gonna taste something foreign in their mouth they're not used to taste, or they're tasting only in a certain time when they get hurt or injured, going to the doctor, dentist, that's gonna also freak them out. So by targeting the senses from here, I'm going to create an immediate lack of interest to my opponent to continue holding me. So by doing that, most likely he will want to disengage. You can also see that just by doing that brush stroke, 1, 2 eyes and face, that I just hurt at least 3 main sensory senses: hearing, visual, and taste. Remember the blood that I said, that a lot of people are gonna back off if they're actually gonna taste blood, let alone see blood. Working on those senses and neutralizing those senses, hurting them with enough damage, can definitely put your opponent in a very stressful situation. Some even panic, and some might not. Some people are gonna be accustomed to that. It's very individual. An experienced fighter, especially a full-on cage fighter, MMA, full contact for that matter, boxer, Muay Thai guy, is not going to get so stressed out. Somebody that has been around a lot of shooting, the ringing in his ears not affect them a lot. Every person is individual. We're targeting the main sensories as far as we can make the most out of them and create the most amount of damage. Okay, just to sum up what we just performed in short word, we're trying to attack the sensories, meaning that we're trying to work on the human brain, the computer, whether it's psychologically or just neutralizing it by hurting one of the sensories, as like I mentioned, vision. You'll see a lot of bodyguards, police officers, even military on deployments. The eyes, the most important sensor as far as I'm concerned. You take out the eyes, the person is pretty much incapable of doing anything. His sensory, his computer, the brain getting damaged, sending a lot of signals to back off. A lot of protections you can see, for example, if I'm doing my detail here and I got my my Oakleys on, a lot of them today are very ballistically strong. You can be pushed like acid on the eyes, it's gonna burn and everything, but it's not gonna burn my eyes unless it goes through. Eyes, most important sensories. You hurt the computer, everything else fails. Also, from the non-lethal aspect of it, law enforcement today use a lot of technique just using the basic utilizing light, okay? Light and high frequencies, you can see in the cameras, pretty much what's going to do is just change the frequency of light, disorient you, and create a lot of confusing. Some people under this light, they even had studies of nauseous, vomiting, throwing up, just using a non-lethal force. So not always we want to end up the situation with a dead person. Sometimes the situation just doesn't require lethal force. So we want to avoid that just by attacking one of the sensors and being smart about that. Using the brain, Kapap uses the brain as the main weapon. If you can avoid a certain situation, you got to think, not just go always into the conflict. Pre-conflict, the conflict itself, you got to know your tactics, and the post-conflict, be smart about it, trying to stay out of jail, trying to know what to say and how to save your life after the conflict is over, because you can drag a lot of trouble and a lot of hardship, and it's just going to be an agonizing process. So think and use your brain and attack the other guy's brain.
Now we're going to talk about the principle of high and low. If you watch, for example, many times in a fight or Thai box fights, when we do this, I try to kick his leg, because most of people, when they get hit down, they start to think down and defense down. That gives me a good opening for their face. It could be that also I'll go on the face to get down, or to get with the knee to the stomach. And the first thing, and again we're coming back to the first principle when we talked about the triangle, is the combat condition. Most of people cannot take a hit, and this is the problem. You must build up your body for a combat condition that I can stand like this and the guy can kick and hit me and I can take it. And it takes years of experience to get it. And if you cannot take a kick or a punch, definitely you will not be able to take a stab. And most people forget it. They think a knife is a game, and like Uri said, the knife is one of the most difficult weapon to counter. And again, we're back to the same thing, and we mentioned the high and low principle. So once I smacked, and again, you see like what I do to his balance displacement, but also you can see because I economic of motion, I know what his motion is going to do. That's why I come over here, that I can kick his groin, for example. Now, many years ago, this technique was performed like this. And then kicking his nuts. And naturally, that's a very bad move, because when you kick somebody, he will come to your nose. And then he attack your sensory system, which is bad for you. So also when you do this, let's say that he's doing it to me, and he opened my hand like I did, from up all the way. That's where I want to be as a grappler. That's exactly where he cannot do much, and I can do a lot. Why we start with the principle? Later on you'll see how a lot of techniques that might be presented as a self-defense for real world, suddenly when you see the logic behind them, they don't work. And that's why we tried first to work with the logic and explain to you, and later on to go technique. And now we're going, for example, for technique. I go, somebody put his hand and he says, like he tried to stop me or anything. My first reaction is very natural reaction to hit his groin. Getting hit in the groin, his reaction is to come down. So that's why economic of motion, immediately I'm here. Now it's no matter if you do this and you lose him, then you go immediately to the next move. And that's why you will see, try to hit him down, try to hit him up, have him here. Now I have only 1 point. So if he will go this way, he might change the whole scenario. But by putting it in my stomach, I'll lock it. Now we have 2 points. So now, if I want to take him this direction, I just move this way. And now you remember like about the linear, I will take him linear down and a circle to the side. So it will take him off. Now if I want, I can start to another principle of switching direction. It's the principle of shaking the person. Many times you'll see that we shake to earn leverage. So this is but if the guy even is strong, I might turn and switch again like position. And that's another principle that economic of motion, I don't fight with you. I all time apply for a new technique. That's why it's very difficult to start to study the Kapap gyros, but once you understand the gyro, is all the time, whenever you go, I will be in a better position that will give me better reactions for him. Right now, he cannot do much. You see, I block him, because his hand can come only this direction. Now his hand cannot do nothing. Can you punch? Can you punch? So this is why I want to climb here. This is why I want to climb here. This is why I immediately come over here and trap him. Now I have a free hand, he is not, and his hands are trapped. So it's no matter what, later on, if we take it to grappling, fighting, free fight, whatever, police work, you will see that all time the relative position will be very important. We use Stacy, and if you see, she don't have a Kapap t-shirt because she don't belong to us. And she sit here without in the filming. We grab her, we show her 5 times how to do a simple technique that I just showed. You grab she do this, and she do that, and throw him down. And we'll see, it's very easy to teach it, and it will work. And that's why when we put the technique at the end for civilians or for people in the school, they must be very simple at the end, but there was a lot of thinking before creating them. You saw that in a fight there is a lot of smacks and surprises, and many times there's simple drills that you can do. You don't you don't smack the ear, you smack only over here. And just do not make it as a personal, it's a business. Fight is a business, it's a trade. He tried to give me up, I will block. I try to take him down, he tried to take down, I try to get up. So the drill is very simple. Right now we're not counter, he smack me. And if you see, it can go forever, but I prefer that it will stop on him. But this is a drill that, for example, you go, and most of you, for example, will be very shocked if I smack their face. And most of my students know. Just react immediately. Nothing happened. You see, I don't bleed, I don't do anything, but most of you will be shocked. Sometimes I talk to people and immediately, see, nothing happened. And most of people will get scared, but if you get used to it, nothing happened. Of course, don't try it over here, don't try it on the eyes. But many times people, when they get, and this is why it's good to do full contact, boxing sometime, you don't take it as a person. So the guy smack you, so what? If I get scared when he smack my face, I lost the fight. Again, back to the body condition, and we keep going with the body condition, and 90% of the fight is a body condition. If you think you will not be, you will be able to fight by some kind of a magic pill, you're getting wrong, and you don't want to find it in the real fight. So to keep the body condition, for example, there's a lot of drills that many martial arts are doing. For example, I stand as an object, and he kick different, he can kick here, he can kick also from the inside. And now you go free, and also you can go body, here, here. And it's a matter of levels. And for example, what I'm saying is like you don't start hard. Mostly when you're a beginner, you start very slow. So I'll show like you start very slow on the person, but very, very slow. When he became much better, you can start, for example, and you hit me only on this leg so the camera can go and go harder, go harder. And if you see I even don't block, I just try to keep my mental, I ignore it, it's nothing. It's even not a girl, come on. Strong, strong, strong. And that's the only way. You see, and I try to disrespect him. I talk a lot of bad talk to him. Come on, I don't feel you. You're like a mosquito. My grandma kicks harder. So the more he go harder, he get depressed. And I play with the moral. You don't want to come to a fight and the guy touch you and you're no emotion. If you see like when I fight, I have no emotion in my face. I can decide that I fight. Laughing, there's no, those hits should not become personal. It's a business. The guy hit. See, so when I fight, immediately I'm in, and every hit just make me want to go more. How you develop this mental? You have to train for it, and train slowly and slowly and slowly and build up. But when you build up, you can go harder, full power, and nothing. Nothing. So when you fight, you're just like this. Kick. Kick. So of course I can immediately get it. And again, if you see high and low. But if every effect on my kick here will create an opening, you get me. And that's why body condition is very important.
I'm Albert Timmon. I'm the president of Kapap Academy. A little bit about myself. I'm a veteran of the Israeli Defense Force. I served in a certain unit that I cannot mention the name or the years that I've served, but it's considered to be a special unit that has a special course or a special designation.
My name is Avinardia. I was instructor for hand-to-hand in the Israeli Army, in the Israeli Police, and in the Israeli counterterrorism units. I'm into the Kapap. I was the head instructor for the Kapap Federation under Lieutenant Colonel Chaim Pe'er. And today I'm the head instructor for Kapap Academy in the US.
Basically, if we go back in time and we see where Kapap started, it started as a concept in the early 20s, in the beginning of the state of Palestine, before even Israel became a state. Later on, it became a tool of service to the underground or forces that later on became the IDF. And this is how Kapap became a term and took a more shape, and with the years on that progressed, also the Kapap progressed, because it wasn't based on one source. Kapap was based much like what we do today, and a lot of knowledges from a lot of angles of people, of instructors that are coming with different backgrounds. But what puts us together is the common base that we want to explore. It's like a think tank. What is better and what is more relevant today than what was yesterday? If we start to analyze, as I said before, a certain angle, we don't stay with that certain angle and we say this is a definite angle of that approach. We try to attack it from many different angles and to see what is the benefit of the end user after we finish the process of analyzing it. So it can take many shapes and forms and turns and conclusions, but at the end, it started the process, it ended the process, and in between, we did evolution, evaluation, and of course, a personal opinion or personal background, and test. The real test that any technique or any doctrine that we bring to the table has to pass many tests. And I think that the test of reality is to keep all the time to be to ask the questions, the hard questions, because if we give ourselves the easy answers, everything is out there, everything is possible.
It's only about the Kapap, because, like I said many times, once we get enough students that complete the program, I guarantee that you will not see me teaching anymore Kapap, and you'll see that I'm retired and teaching Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That's my love. Teach Kendo, that's my love. And Kapap, it's a circumstance. When you live in a country, as the country that I born, self-defense became issue, and you cannot teach Judo or Jiu-Jitsu as a sport only. You have all time to keep thinking also about the aspects of self-defense. When you come to the army, you try to create program that, you know, it's a few moves from Judo and a few moves, because you cannot make them really too much professional. And the Kapap, if you check, it's try today to go back to the origin. The origin is Judo, Jiu-Jitsu, Karate, Thai box, any martial art that can donate better knowledge to save people's life.
Well, Kapap Academy is just the title. You know, we give the name of the umbrella. Okay, Kapap Academy has a lot of functions today. Well, we started with a small definition of taking the Kapap to the next step, which was in general terms a big and vague description of what we really did. But Kapap Academy is developing the curriculum today. Each and every member of the academy, or the cadre of instructors which is involved with Kapap today, there's people that are still in service in Israel which are a part of the association of Kapap. We're just waiting for them to get dismissed from the service and then to take an active role in the civilian life. So we cannot still use them as official members of the Kapap Academy. But as of now, we have myself, we have Avi as an instructor, we have other instructors which are coming from Israel and serving more and more as helping hands to our effort to promote Kapap. You've seen just a few of them here in the DVD as well. Uri is one of them. He also served in the Israeli and the American military. So he brings different angles of knowledge as well. And basically defines Kapap in many ways. There's no one definition for Kapap Academy.
The Kapap is also about friendship. This is why we call it, it's a family. And this is, it's very tight. We opened only the first level, the level 1, which is a test. I think that in the last 6 years that I teach Kapap, we've been attacked that there's not this system. When people found out there is a system Kapap, and of course, if I want tomorrow to create even a new system, you cannot say because you have a system that is no another system. Then they try to put bad mouths, but this is the way of martial art. People will put all the time bad rumors. Kapap exists for me as, even if I die tomorrow, the Kapap will never stop. Because people, I think, like Albert says, it's a spark that it starts, and I don't think nobody can stop it. And I'm happy because now there's 15 different Kapap organizations that I never even met them. Of course, I know that 15 of those organizations bought my DVDs because they repeat on the same technique. And I said, don't study the technique, study the ideas and develop. But by the time people will do it, and some of even our students, they do it, and sometimes I'm impressed because they show me different angles, and that's the Kapap. It's not one person knowledge is absolute. It's everyone bring a knowledge, and now instead of one brain, you have 100 brains. That's much stronger as a thinking group.
We think about it as a panorama, how you look at one thing but not with one angle. We try to look at each and everything or topic that we pick up as based on its importance in the ladder of importance. We put it, we start to analyze it. And it started as a concept. First of all, we need to understand that Kapap, Kav Panim El Panim, is a concept. It's an acronym. It's face-to-face combat. And why we choose the name Kapap or Kav Panim El Panim, because that's the original term and original fighting system that was used in Israel since the 20s and up until the 70s, late 70s, and then totally disbanded. And because of the evolution of terminology as well, the Kapap was forgotten, and of course never really forgotten, because there's still people in Israel like Michael Horowitz that is a live testimony to people that did or were the contributors for the original Kapap.
I think that people that look for real self-defense, that do big mistake, they think that real self-defense is like a mech dojo or mech krav schools. And they think, okay, come on, I teach you the secret. You push here, and here the guy's dying. You push here 15 degrees and here 10 degrees, and then the guy died. Every technique has the explanation, every move has explanation. The real true, if you study one move, but you study to do it from the wrist, what happens if I hold you here? So you cannot study it as a release. You have to study it more as a drill of how to engage, how to trap, how to do, like we talked with a knife, the guntiks, which are the traps, how to, what is the principle of a choke? Don't try to remember the choke, try to study the principle of the choke. And today we're going to talk, for example, for choke. So you see how we try to develop people to think you can find more chokes, because it's absolutely, to choke you need to push those two arteries and the tube of air. You can do together, you can do separately. So if you understand the principle, you can keep progress. And the way I want things to be done is that the martial art will keep progressive.
We don't try to make anything fancy, don't try to make anything coordinated as 1, 2, 3 like in the movies. We try to take a thing as it is, to test it, live test it, to take, like we've seen before, if we take a Muay Thai technique against a boxing, let's see what works better, but we don't take it as a definite Muay Thai technique or a boxing technique. Just take the skill itself, and we start to apply it, to apply it to a different angle, where it can be used, where it cannot be used, when it can be used, why it should be used over certain other techniques. And these are the questions that arise when you start a thinking process. And if you don't start a thinking process, there you have those dead systems. And Kapap is much alive. Kapap is much alive today as it was in the beginning of Kapap, because it became a need. For us, it's a need to all the time come to new results. It cannot be that I can define Kapap today. The best is, you said, okay, we all know the cassette tapes or the 8mm tapes, and now we're going to digital media. Of course, they will both work, because if I'm using old technology in new age, it still works because I have, but it will be wrong to use old technology for the new age. And I think Kapap much evolved along the years because of the people that contributed to the Kapap, and because of the process that we live today. The society changes. A lot of new knowledge is coming from, boundaries are falling, new cultures are taking over. Sometimes new cultures intermix, and then you see a lot of new synthesis of things. And this is why Kapap is very important, because we can evaluate where it came from, we can track the history, we can track the culture of a certain aspect, we can track the reason why it was done like this, we can track why it shouldn't be done like this. And this is the process, again, that Kapap is engaged and involved in, much alive today as it was at the beginning.
I think that, again, you know, like I hear it again like many times, oh, you will never find in the real fight like mattress. You don't want to fall to the ground on a real fight. I've been in a real fight. And you know, everyone know when I was young I challenged everyone. Even now I'm 47, everyone that want to challenge me, I accept the challenge even if I lose. And I'm happy. I have only problems with Thai boxers, wrestlers, good karate that sparring like Kyokushin, they can give me a hard time, and judo players, and of course Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, they can whip the floor with me still. But I'm in a process to prevent it. So for me, it's very funny, we blame those martial arts to be too sport and not reality. I don't know any reality trainer that can fight with those martial arts. So why don't we take our ego aside and say, you know what, you talk about ground, let's go to the ground. Defeat a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you can teach ground or Israeli ground fighting. Before that, watch out, you know. And I think that the traditional martial art and the sport martial art can teach us great things. The only thing that they can break, and they're also giving you explore for a real fight, because how can you really fight? Only when you really spar, getting blood, not too wild, but this is, and that's why we create the sport, because if you poke my eye, I can train more than 2 times. You poke this eye and then this side, then I'm blind. You have to change me. So that's why we create a sport, that you don't touch here, you don't touch here. Try to win over me in a fair game. If you can do it, of course, if you can poke my eye in the fight, me as a traditional, I can poke your eye as well. So if I know to roll on this mat, trust me, I can roll on a cement. And I just did. I've been in a seminar in Germany. A guy want to suddenly get crazy, and okay, so I spar. We got to the ground. I did the same thing that I do on the mat. I smacked a little bit my knees, but I found and I choked him. So, of course, people, they train well, but we want also to train safe, not crazy. To train in a parking lot and decide that this is the real environment. You know, in a real environment, I will take a stick with a nail and stick it to your head. So what, you want to train with these tools, or you want with a pad tool? So let's be realistic. To be realistic is to stop to be a small kid. I don't want people to come to Kapap because it's the Israeli Special Forces or the most devastating or the Commando One or this, just because this is what they like.
The modern Kapap that we do today resembles a lot in the principles that was used in the old or historical Kapap. And we can see much as today where techniques come from. The historical Kapap was based also on a lot of stick fighting. Lekan, the walking stick, was influencing the Kapap in the early 20s, and the short and the long stick were used as weapons, and why they were used, by whom they were used, where they came from. Those things never got any attention before the modern day Kapap people started asking the questions. And sometimes it's very easy to come to conclusion because there's only one person that led a certain style, and he got the definite answers, and he locked the system, and he put it in a certain way, which is very hard to go and do it in a different way. And if you do it a little bit different, then it's not called the same system. And many people want to keep it a traditional or a very closed curriculum. I think, for our opinion, for Kapap instructors, if you're not asking the questions, you will never come to conclusions. And many people are followers, and I think that Kapap is unique by giving the people the uniqueness of being leaders. We want to lead, we want to ask the questions, we want to make hard questions and to have hard answers. And if we're doing a mistake, we want to make sure that mistake is not then transferred to the next generation. And we want the next generation to ask the questions, because maybe we did everything well for today, but tomorrow is changed. And if I keep it today or tomorrow as I kept it yesterday, it's not relevant anymore. And now I'm failing the next generation of students. And this is the uniqueness of Kapap, that because we have so many people involved now with so much knowledge and around the world, and it's breaking any boundaries that I know of, language, religion, creed. We've been around the world literally, and we've spread the word about Kapap as a concept, not a theory, not a religion, and not politics. We're not involved in any politics. The only thing that we want to explore in Kapap is you bring it to the mat, we test it, and if it passes the test of all the questions, all the process, we'll take it, and we put it more as an addition to what we already do. But if it fails, we cannot accept it. We cannot call it a technique, or still do it, or still teach it, or still give the others that come to our gates or to come to our schools to absorb it and to tell them this is the best. because it's not. And we will lie to ourselves and we'll lie to our students.
Our bigger shock was when we came to the market that we didn't know that we're dealing with more lunatic people, that or the desire was to dress military uniform. For me, the military was a circumstance. I hate the military. If I could prevent going to the military, I will do it. But it's a circumstance. You're born in a country that this is a part of your culture. And the funny thing is that, you know, I see a lot of weirdo lunatic want to be coming with a camouflage uniform. They look like they land from Iraq or Afghanistan war now. And I said, you know what? My son asked me about the Titanic. Why those guys didn't swim? And I tried to explain to him about hypothermia, what happened when you fall to cold water. He didn't understand, but he was only 5 years old. And those people didn't understand. So I said, you know, you're not 5 years old. Let me explain to you a little bit about hypothermia and how people react under when he's all disoriented, and it's no matter if you do it in a water or in a cold. This is why traditional martial art, we have 4 seasons. And I took them to run on the snow, bare feet, and immediately their leg freeze, immediately they shake, they get a little bit hypothermia, that they couldn't perform anything. So forget the camouflage, you can train with gi, you can train with any, we use the shorts. I just came with the California pants and you start laughing, say to me, okay, change, but you're not going to perform like this. And everyone know that I'm the last official person in the world. Sometimes I teach with a white belt, because everyone are black belts, so I'm the only white belt in the class, so they know I'm the teacher. It's only to separate you, don't get too much into what belt you are. Like when people ask me, what belt are in Kapap? I said, there's no belts. I said, so what is your belt? I said, my belt, I can kick your ass. So they asked me, so what is Joe Machado belt in the Kapap? I said, he can kick my ass. So I said it in a rude way, but why it's so important, the belt? You have something maybe to study from this person, just study it. I studied from a guy in Japan who was the only person that actually didn't smack me, because it was after a heart attack, you know, was 90 years old. But he explained to me a lot of things with the blades. Like when I do this with a short, they're already getting me. So he said, just go forward and attack. And he started to train me. So if I go wild and smack him, what do you want from a 90 years old, don't go aggressive on this. But he teach me the secret of the blade. And even now I see many times blade people and see they do this. I know they don't know blade. They just expose the ear. They do this, they already expose themselves and the blade is there instead of in front of enemy. I teach my kid the art of blade. I say, remember one thing, the blade never leave the enemy. So we spar in the house, we joke, you know, like those movies. And my wife comes, she said, I want to play. And we took the sword and my kid fenced with my wife. And she's playing like this. And immediately, like, he took the center line. So the art of martial art is to teach you the art of sensitivity, center line. All of those drills are in karate, judo, jiu-jitsu. When I started going to Brazilian jiu-jitsu, a friend, Dave Swift, he told me, Avi, look for the center line. I said, well, what do you mean? I'm on the ground like this. Now I start to see martial art is a one thing. But it don't mean that if you understand karate, you know Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And then many times people afraid. They say, Brazilian jiu-jitsu is judo. It's not true. I did judo. It's a completely different game. Don't be afraid to explore the other arts. That's Kapap.
I think Kapap is a spark. You know, Kapap in general is a spark. It's a starter. It's a starter of process. And as I said, Kapap is based on principles of thinking. If you don't use the best muscle in your body, which is the brain, then you're dead. And no matter what you do and what aspect of life you do it, if you're not exploring, if you're not expanding your horizons, if you don't ask yourself the hard questions, because again, as I said before, if you have the answer for everything, then your ultimate knowledge, then you can close everything and you say, I have the ultimate knowledge, I don't need anything more. But then reality comes and strikes you in the face, and what you do then? Then it's too late for you, because you didn't ask the question before, and you weren't, I'm sorry to use this terminology, smart enough to do that. But people are getting people, Kapap is building people to think. Kapap is a start, it's a spark. We want to put the information out there to get you really interested in what we have to say. How, and it should strike a nerve in your brain or in your system which you will ask, am I doing the best thing for myself? Am I capable actually to perform to my expectations? So I think in this place Kapap comes in and gives you not all the answers, but some of the answers that to a certain level, but we don't want to give you the ultimate answers because there's nothing like that. We want to keep you all the time on the edge, keeping the answers, keeping the questions, keeping the process of thinking, keeping the exploration. Kapap is a very smart system in the terms that it makes you smarter if you ask the questions. If you choose to stay stupid or limited with the information, that's your responsibility. And I think that each and every one of us has a personal responsibility to his actions and to the consequences of his actions. So that sums up, I think, that the entire concept of Kapap. The ultimate tool is the brain. I suggest for people to start a learning process is to make the first step. You don't have to step into a school to do that. We have a website. It's www.kapapacademy.com. We have this DVD set that you can purchase through Black Belt magazine. We have the book Kapap Combat Concepts, which give enough material to start. This is the starter kit, and this is something that you want to have it as a reference. Again, it's not the ultimate answer, but it will get you started. And if you want to explore more, you can get into our schools. We have active schools and instructors, which their information is going to be listed in the DVD set. And whenever you have a question or any type of information, you're free to call us and to leave a message, and we'll get back to you with any answer possible at the time.
Now if you see a line from here to here, I'm actually, if I push like this, I'm actually pushing the first and second bone. And that's why if I put my finger here, it cannot walk. If you try to walk, it can't walk. Now, if I do a motion of a triangle and I put it up and down, I can take him immediately and balance displacement here. Now, if you take this principle, again, you can use it immediately to self-defense. And for a technique, we didn't find it. It was already been found in every manual book that you go for the history of martial art, no matter if it's 500 years ago, or if it's go like for the most modern CQB, Colonel Applegate, Farben, all of those guys, books of Second World manual books, you'll see that most of they do this, and then they go like for century removal or whatever. And this technique called the mask, if you see, many times they used to do this way, but again, because we talked about the post-conflict, you don't want him to bite you, and you don't want him to mess with his blood. This is why we try to reach him this way and immediately take him out of cover. Now again, if you see like it's the up and down, high and low, so immediately if I do this, I take him out of balance. Is what we call the neck triangles. And you have a lot of neck triangles. You have here, but the most simple one is over here on the trachea. And when you push your finger, mostly if you have one, it's not strong enough, but when you have two, it's immediately take him off. And that's called the nailing technique. And for example, I can take tacks and nail him to the wall. So if I do this, I nail him to the wall. Mostly, for example, for a crowd environment, I'm stuck with him in an elevator. If these are the doors, you don't want to stand like this and give him your back. And again, it's a repositioning. When you stand in front of somebody, you want to be here. You want maybe to have one end up, that if you do something. And once something happens, you want to be controlling him and be here. And again, if you see, I make him go on his toes, and I can take him also down by pushing up and immediately down and bring him to my other tools to hit him. So this is the nail, and the nail is a great tool. And also like this one, and I can say, stop, don't move, don't move. And if you see all I do, I push my fingers that way to his neck. So whenever I come to a fight, don't move, I don't want to hurt you, don't move. Put your hand in the front of your body, that's it. So those basic two techniques, mask and nail, we can apply them in technique and from every position. If the guy go to a hack bar, immediately see like where is my finger, immediately. And sorry, I do it only one time. So like you go to for a bar, and again, like you remember all of those. And when you go to the ground, you see I can keep him over here.
Okay, let's talk about release from holds. Holds is kind of simple and not simple. It's kind of like you're in a safe zone, but you're not. So guys that wrestle, grapple, football players have the tendency to bear hug you, take you to the ground, and work the way from the ground. You want to avoid it at all costs, especially if your grappling skills are poor. We're gonna work by one guiding principle, and you will see how I'm building on that, but that's gotta be your foundation. Keeping your center of gravity low. Now, the good news about a hug or a bear hug is that the guy cannot punch you. Unless he grows a third arm, he cannot punch you. He needs to grab a hold. He cannot hold you with one hand unless he gets you in a weird headlock or something, but to get you in a grappling takedown situation, he has to use both of his arm. Now, Martin is a big guy. He's gonna have a lot of grab. Let's talk about the first importance that I just mentioned is keeping your center of gravity low. Martin is gonna approach to me, hug me, and just lift me up without a problem. I'm about 205, 206. He lifts me up without a problem. Let's try it again. Okay. What I didn't change my weight or anything. I just shifted my center of gravity from being high up here, this is our center of gravity, to being much lower. It's almost like I doubled my weight. There was no way that he could lift somebody like me up by dropping my weight. If you saw it before, he lifted me up, it disconnected me from the ground without a problem. The first thing is a mechanism to avoid the slam, the body slam. As soon as I feel the bear hug, is to drop my weight. Drop my weight also, as you can see, gives me a lot of options and movement with my hands. I kind of even get a chance to squirm my arms underneath him. And whether I'm going for the donkey choke or the donkey kiss, or for the slamming of the groin from here, I got a lot of options, but I gotta lower my level, my center of gravity. If not, in about a split second, I'm gonna find myself slammed in the air and flying in the air and get slammed to the ground. Okay, so two variations and two situations of holding that we're gonna talk about in a second. Let's start and see. I'll demonstrate the technique first, and then I'm gonna go over what I'm doing. Okay. Martin engaged me with a bear hug from the front. Immediately, I drop my hands. Also, if you see wrestlers, there's no way wrestlers, grapplers, they never throw. They have to have hip-to-hip contact in order to throw. Martin cannot lift me up in the air. Can you lift me up like this from here? There's no way. He needs to attach his hip, his center of gravity, to my center of gravity, and then lift me up. Now, that's the only way. If I'm preventing from that, I'm doing, remember, we're not in a wrestling match, but that's gotta be my first instinct, to prevent him from throwing me. Almost like a sprawl. Control the upper hand, go for the groin if I need to with both hands. Now, by pulling and pushing, the same elements we talked before, pulling and pushing, extracting my hand out, I can control the head. Let's see from this angle, okay? See that? See the hug from here? Pulling, pushing out. If I rake him on the way out with my elbow, even better. And controlling and having this dynamic tension between his hand. And from there on, whatever works for you. If you want to grab him in a full guillotine and can continue the grappling game, if you want to disconnect and just work your boxing and go away, if you're a Thai boxer, you want to just pummel, get in with the knees, whichever. Really important to create that distance, extract, pull and push the arm, and do your thing from over there. Okay, same thing for a more vulnerable position. I might be standing here talking to somebody, all of a sudden I feel the tackle from the side. Now, Because of this attack is coming from the side, same like in the back, I have to drag my leg backwards in order to stabilize myself. The same thing I would have to do in the side, because otherwise I'm just going to collapse and he's going to just fall right on top of me. Same thing applies with center of gravity. Martin can lift me up from here. Can you lift me up? Okay, not a problem. Lift me up from here. That's not going to work, not even if he does have a good close hip to hip center of gravity contact. Like in the, very similar to the dragging of the foot and the shooting stance, and checking the hip, getting the arm, push and pull. From here, I create the distance. I pull myself out, and I push my hand, extract it. Some people call it the suitcase. If it helps you remember, kind of like when you're taking luggage in the airport, you lift it up from here, elbow to the face, and again, I'm not in a good position. I want to keep my good relative position. Maybe I'll pivot on the outside. Maybe go for a break, joint, knee, kick, but the same principle apply. I feel this, same thing, lifting my hands up, that is my defense. Okay, give him a hard time, don't be an easy target. Hit, pull, reposition yourself with the elbow, hit, grab, do whatever you need to do from here. Soon as you got that, you're in a safe zone for a little while. If Martin's gonna tackle me from the side, especially if he comes lifting me up, that's it, I'm done. But this time I'll be flying in the air, he's gonna be all over me on the ground. The worst, most possible scenario that can happen to anybody is getting attacked from the rear. Okay, getting attacked from the rear, you're not ready, you don't have eyes in the back of your head. That attack can come really swiftly and they can finish you up pretty quick if you do not know or not prepared for what you're doing. If you're not prepared, try to stick to the same thing. Remember, it's different weapons, one mindset. Just stick to the basics, and you would have that enough period of time to react and try to counter the attack. He's got the element of surprise. You can see what he cannot. He can see what you cannot. So everything so far looks for his advantage. And what I'm referring to is the rare grab or bear hug. Okay. Again, coming from here, Martin's gonna grab me, lift me up without a problem. I'm gonna be on my head, planted in the ground before I know it. The first thing I'm gonna do, same old thing. Drop my center of gravity, not completely loose up and sit on the ground, but just drop while I'm still in control. Now lift me up, Martin. It's just not gonna work. You don't believe it, try it at home. Okay, from here, same like any other grab we did before. Restrain one arm. See, he's dropping me from under. Now, I'm gonna slap the groin with the back of my hand, like in every other strike. I'm gonna slap the groin. Open hand, why not fist? Because this just covers more area. It just covers more, extend my hand as regarding to fist, as opposed to a fist, I cover more space. I tilt my hip to the side, almost like a little dance to expose it, because from here it's gonna be really hard to reach his groin. Also from this angle, you'll see I have to kind of tilt to have his groin open. Tilt, low. Now from here, I have high. Now if I cannot break it, I work on both sides. Both sides, and look what I'm doing. I'm replacing my arms, eventually working high on the headbutt level and pivoting out, very similar to a pivot. If you can peel a finger, great. From here, finger towards him, try to snap the finger off. And from there, do your fighting routine, whether you're doing triangles, Kapap, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, or just getting one good straight hand and just getting the hell out of there, okay? So every motion starts with dropping, whether it was from the front, groin, open hand to the groin, extract it out. Side, lower your body, hand, open hand to the groin, tilt. And tilting is very important because I have to extract my arm out and then pivot. And from the back. So from here, drop, groin, groin. Especially if it gets me with two arms, it's gonna be hard for me to strike. If I can go with the headbutt, stomp the toes, grab a finger, pivot out, try to engage the finger, and break contact. Break contact it doesn't mean the fight is over. He might want to still come at you, who knows? But at least I'm not in the inferior position that I started in the first place of being grabbed in a bear hug.
When we talk about Kapap and Kapap as a martial arts, we also have to talk about not only protecting yourself, but also protecting others. The people around you. It could be your girlfriend, your daughter, your wife, your VIP, if you're into VIP protection. So I'll just go over again a couple things and about how to be, you know, in regards to your either loved ones or your VIP when it comes to the whole relation of space of being around and where to be. So here I have my, we'll call her the principal for right now. If she'll turn around, and if we're into VIP protection, I would want to be in a spot where I can best protect her. So the place I want to be in VIP protection is what we call within arm's reach. I just barely have to be where I can touch her, so I can get her evacuated in case there is some kind of emergency or a threat poses or whatever. If I take a step back here, it'll take me way too long time to get up there to protect her. And if I'm all the way up here, she'll probably feel me breathing down her neck, and she'll feel, you know, crowded, and I'll lose my job in a week. So if I'm working on VIP, I'll probably be within an arm's reach right here in case anything would ever happen. Then I can step in front of her and protect her. And I'll show that if you can step over here. Right here, if anything would ever happen, I'm going to use what we already talked about, the linear movement. I'll start off first. If a threat poses from the front towards my principal, I'll take a step up and I'll take a step in. Right now my body is in between the threat and the principal, and I'll probably be wearing body armor, maybe even rifle plates in case something ever happens. 99% of the time it's enough for me just to come in here and maybe just shield her a little bit from the supposed threat or whatever. Sometimes I might have to evacuate her. Again, I'll show one more time. If I'm back here within arm's reach and there's a threat and somebody comes running towards her, I'm going to go in and I'm going to use the principles that we talked about earlier about the high T and the low T. And I'll just turn it this way right here, and I'll show, again, I'm going to come in and I'm going to break her balance to spin her around to evacuate out of the threat area. I'm going to put a palm on her hip, and I'm going to put a palm strike on her right shoulder, and when I do that at the same time, she'll spin around. And then I'm going to put my hand up on her head and push her down. Sometimes the principal will be a lot taller than you. You have to put him down so the threat from the back can't really get to them or shoot you. Right now, when the threat came, I got my body armor in between the threat and the principal, and I can walk her out of there, back towards the car, a safe area. Okay, in VIP protection, the first step, or the basic VIP protection, is just me. I'll be what they call the agent in charge, or the team leader, or the private protection officer for the day. I'll be assigned to a principal. The next step, after we're done exercising with just one guy evacuating, it'll be to add a guy. The most logical place to add this guy will be what we call left point. This is an echelon left. We can also do echelon right, and we can add some more people later. What we'll show is just a basic drill on how it works with an echelon left. When I say contact, he'll do a body shift to the right, and he'll put his body in front, directly in front of the VIP, so I can evacuate her. And if anybody would be shooting at her, it would have to go through Uri's body armor before we get to her, right? So here we go. Contact. And I'll simply just spin her around and walk her out of there like we did before, by putting my left hand on her left hip and my right hand on the right shoulder blade, and just spin her around with a palm strike. Let's do it one more time. So we're walking down the street, suddenly we see something, somebody yells, "Contact!" And that's pretty much the basic exercise that you can go to when you get some more people on your detail. Okay, here what happened. We just got a budget increase. We got one more guy in our formation now. Again, so I got a right point and I got a left point, and basically it'll be the same exercise, but except when I say contact, they'll both do a body shift and they'll screen the protect the principal that way. So here we go. Contact front. And as you can see, right now they're shoulder to shoulder, body armor to body armor. So there's a pretty big screen for me to run away from the potential threat. It'll have to go through these two guys. Rounds or whatever's coming down range has to come through them and my own body armor before I can get to my principal.
When people talk about gun disarming, we need to remember a lot of things. Sometimes when I teach gun disarming, I show a lot of gun disarming, and then the guy comes and he stands like this, and I'm over here, and he says, "What you doing now?" Boom, boom. So of course you cannot do nothing to somebody that want to assassinate you. It is very hard to disarming a sniper from 100 yard or something like that. How can you disarm it? You need another way to disarm it. So let's talk about the simple way. And again, the guy come and say, give me your money. The best self-defense is to give him your money. Mostly if you work on a bar, in a bank, in any place else, and the guy say, give me your money, 90% it's even not your money, you're just employee of somebody, so why to be a hero and try to kill yourself? And even if it's your money, it's better to give the money and make a new one than to retry to reborn again, because it's not possible. So when you have a gun, for example, for your head, because most of people, and it's no matter if they hold it like this or like that, that's only from movies. If the guy hold the gun over here and he says, let's say it's not give me the money, I want to shoot you, and take a look that when the gun, even to the center of the head or the up, the more up it's more easy. But when I say one, Brian will try to shoot me, okay? 1,
Boom.
2,
Boom.
3.
Boom.
You see that the head is a small target. So when somebody, first when you see the gun, it means the gun don't want to kill you. Second, it's still a bad news because we still have a gun to our head. So it's much getting complicated when it's in the middle of your body, because now if I try to move, 1,
Boom.
you get shot. 2,
Boom.
you get shot. Our liver is in the right side. Now we start to also thinking about damage control. If I move the gun this way and the mischarge will be here, I will lose my liver, for example. So again, now it's getting more complicated how you need to analyze which direction to go and how to go. It could be you want to move the gun this way, but here stand your kid. And many times people, they perform gun disarming, the VIP stand in and the guy is doing this and punch the guy, but you're still shooting your VIP man, and that's the last thing you want to do. So gun disarming is not a toy, and mostly every gun disarming that you do with this toy, you know, like people do this and fight, they still do it, but if you see the barrel is pointing to me. If you do like this, still pointing to you. So you feel you're dealing with a firearm, and a firearm, first of all, it's a mechanism. And very soon we explain a little bit about the mechanism. And one way to disarming a gun is to jam the mechanism. Because when you when the mechanism jam, it's easy to disarming now or just to escape, because it will take time to clean the jam, and it give you the time either to react by disarming or either to react by running away. When I was in the Israeli army, we used to teach a few gun disarming, police different gun disarming. Many times those gun disarming based on analyze maybe only one style of gun. It don't mean that they will work with any kind of gun. So I'm going to analyze a little bit about gun disarming and talk a little bit about things that might be work in one situation but definitely not in another one. When you do this and you punch the guy, if he fall down, on his way down, he will shoot you, because the trigger pulled by his own finger. When his weight going down by the gravity, I hold the gun and then the finger. So even you win by punching him, and even you almost knock him down, but this might be causing to you. When, for example, I do this first move and I want to punch him, it could be that he immediately move it to his hip. And again, you find yourself over here. So even if I do it fast, it might still kill me. And but by even punching him and he fall down, it might take your life. Definitely, if there is a, for example, a situation that we have something in between us, and I will try to do it and I'll demo. This gun disarming looks good for movies, but it's getting worse when you are behind the desk or a buffer between me to him. Because when I do this and I try even to punch him and go back, I'm going to fight with him right now. When this point to your head or to your body, you're going to lose. Even if I'm going to pull the gun and he fight because he don't want it, we will find ourselves getting shot. Now, I don't say that it will not work in any scenario. Many times you could be lucky. but you could see that in those gun disarming, we get a problem. Instead of punching him too fast, when I'm over here, for example, and the gun is pointing to me, if you do this, for example, now, you see, even if you try to shoot, you see my finger block the hammer. So there's no way he will shoot. By putting my finger here, I block him. By do this, I will, for example, put the gun safety. So even if you want to shoot and I let him, he will get nothing. So just by doing this, now if you want to fight, you can fight and clean the magazine and give him back the gun. Okay? So this is making the whole gun disarming completely different. As you see, to do a properly gun disarming, you need to be immediately know which gun he has, the mechanism of the gun. And that's why it's not to train with a simple plastic gun. You need to train with a simulation gun like this one, that it's for training. That's why it's marked in red, but it's copy of a real gun and operate on the same. And this is the reason, again, like when I do this, for example, and again, see, I put first my finger, drop the magazine. Now, if there will be a discharge bullet because I didn't put the finger on time or something, it's go there, and he has nothing anymore ammo in this gun. So it means it's very safe for me from here and now to disarming. If, for example, we come to a fight, I can go and do this, and now you can try to shoot me as much as you want. But right now, I just use the mechanism of the gun, for example, for disarming, because I know the gun and immediately I can take it apart or take the mechanism apart or jam the gun. And many times when people show gun disarming, it's a very big risk to do it, because when you don't know to do it properly, and I guarantee that if you tell the guy that teaching you gun disarming, do malfunction number 1 cleaning, malfunction number 3, it creates a problem. That's why in Kapap we see it's again at the triangle structure. When you have to do gun disarming, will be one side, the other side will be gun retention. You have to assume that when you want to disarm it, you want to retain the gun. That's why they fight together. And at the end, you need to be able to know to operate the gun. And why? Because when I take the gun away from him, if at all, if I choose the way, it don't mean that I will do a fancy way like that. That was only to demo for you the mechanism of the gun. But if I do a gun disarming, it's mostly under a circumstance of a kidnap. Because I'm not mugging, I'll give you my money. But if you kidnap me, I will operate and I will take your gun away. And that way, it could be that you have 2 people or 3 people, and then you must be immediately know how to shoot. Now, it could be that you will come out and say, wow, this gun disarming is bad. And it's not, it's a great gun disarming. Depend on the situation. You have a toolbox, and in this toolbox, you might have a screwdriver, you might have a hammer, you might have a saw. If you use the wrong tool in the wrong time, that's where you're doing the mistake. There's nothing mistake with the gun disarming. This gun disarming will work for you perfectly. If, for example, the guy sits and you sit and it's in a car, for example, and if I'm in a car and the guy put the gun, I said, don't shoot me. Move the gun over here, stick it to his body so it's jammed. And now if I punch him or smack him, can he pull back the gun? He can't, because now he's over here. So that's how you judge technique. If you try to teach people martial art by teaching them technique, their technique will all the time fail. If you teach them how to think, how to react by instinct, that's the way to teach martial art. That's why you'll see that Kapap, we teach a lot of drills, almost like, this is why I love Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Drills, rolling, sparring, analyzing, and explore. And then you find out that it worked for you perfectly in one situation and completely wrong to another situation. And unfortunately, today people too fast to teach things that it's too fast for them to teach because they never analyze it enough to get into this teaching. We start to talk about gun disarming and when you want to perform it, and one of the situations you will have to perform it and when you are an hostage. And most of hostage, your hand will be locked. So that's why when you build up technique for gun disarming, you must also see that, for example, if those techniques will work in different situations and you have to train for it. So for example, if I want now to do this and punch the guy, can I do it? It will be safe for me to fight with him right now. But if I do it like that, and I grab, see my fingers, trap him here, and now let's say that even if and I still don't do the technique properly, like kicking him here, headbutt him, rip the gun, and I can immediately move, fix, and shoot. So that's how you start to create gun disarming, with analyzing what you need, what's the situation, and how to do it. Okay, let's go back to the gun disarming. Body language. If you look at me and you put a gun for me and I stand like that, what did it say to you? It's like an attitude. If I'm like that, I'm scared. I cooperate. So the body language must not be like, what's that? Just a gun. It's a danger tool. That's why from here. Now if the gun go up, you have to slowly bring your hand up, like don't shoot me. And now if the gun go down, oh please don't shoot me. You know? So your hand should be near to the gun. If my hands are here, when the gun is here, look how long it will take me to get something if it's up. This is why when the gun is up or down, my hands need to be near to the gun as much as I can. The next thing, you have again like to, let's say that the gun is low, and when you think I'm moving, you say boom, okay? So I want immediately, you see, to put my finger in. If this is an outside hammer, like in the Beretta, to put my finger here. If there is no, the hammer is inside, it will still work. You will not jam the gun by this way, but there's another way to do it. But from here, I put the L. If you see the L shape, I put one here, and the second end come over here. So the first thing I want to do, I want to shoot my body, and if you see, pull him to take him out of balance. That's the first move I want to do it. And again, before you pull the trigger, ready? Shoot. And now from here, you can start to do the gun disarming. And that's the basic to start, that you can move from here to the side. Sound like in boxing, Thai boxing, like to get the angle, to be an angle fighter, than a straight fighter. So when Brian go with the gun and you try to shoot, this will be the first move. And by smacking and grabbing, and from here, if I, for example, want to smack him or kick him, that's beautiful. Now, even when you want to punch him, this will create extension. This will create extension to this direction, the direction that give me more safe to work. That's why if you want to smack him, you don't want to smack the head as you want to smack him here and then headbutt him. Because the gun come here, he's going down, then you headbutt him. And from here, when you headbutt him, you're already coming and bring the gun to him and take him all the way down, or either take just the gun, or we will show another ways of control from here. The next situation, again, the guy put you on your knees. It's like a assassinating style, and he say to you, hasta la vista, baby. You know that he's not demanding money or anything that you can give him and get free from the situation. You must react. So again, what we try to do, we try to create two contacts, 2 points of contact. If I do only this and you pull back, you find yourself plus to deal with his knees. So that's why, first of all, is to take control on the weapon. And to get a good control on the weapon is, first of all, to be able to control 2 points. So I do this, and if you see, I take him immediately out of balance, a little bit down. The reason, now can you knee? It's very hard on him. If I do it only like that, he can knee or kick you back, and then you'll get the problem. So watch out for the finger. First reaction. Second, I pull him with me, and when he comes to the ground, I kick his face or his neck in this way. Very bad. I do it slowly. I need Brian more. Pop the gun away from him. Create the distance, and now I can go and play with the gun. And the reason, let's go it very slow. put the finger in and look what happened. When I'm over here, first is this. Can you see? It'll give me the gun just by this gun. You feel?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you see, when I get to the gun disarming, my first approach is here. So I get already finger lock over here. So when I'm over here, don't shoot me. I just tap, almost like that on the gun. Jam the gun over here. I have lock here, and I'll have a lock on the finger. You feel it?
Yep.
So now I can rotate the gun to his face. I can pull him to me and give him a straight kick when I do it. And shoot. If the gun didn't jam. If it jammed, I have to take my time, clean the jam, put back, load, and shoot. And if you see, I don't need even to look to him, because I just do a point shooting to him. If this is a good way? No. Because basically I don't want to stay on the ground. So when the guy come over here, put your finger in please, slowly. You want to do this, take him out, pull him down, knee his face, kick him. And now I'm over here to shoot. Or if I have a malfunction, look how long it will take him to get up, come back to me when I already have the time to operate the gun, clean the malfunction, and shoot him, or if I have another enemy in the situation. When the guy, for example, hold the gun for you in the back, first thing you have to do is to look, because it could be his finger and the gun returned back. So I can see it. And that's when you have to judge your student all the time, put the finger and put the gun back. And now I say, put it back the gun. Okay? So many times people are not aware that they really have a gun. My first thing is to look. Something touch your back, you don't immediately think it's a gun. It could be an umbrella. So when I'm over here, I look. I try also to see what gun he has. There will be different way, maybe for revolver to deal with, than with a slide gun. That's why the first thing I look. Now, let's say that now I'm looking for the timing. It's not like we're standing here, you ready? I'm going to disarming you. We wait. Maybe tell me let's move to the other room because I'm an hostage. Maybe try to walk me somewhere. So I have all the time in the world to wait to what we call a timing. And many times you'll see when people rotate, they rotate this direction. And mostly they try to elbow because it looks very good. And the main problem, look what happened. You come immediately also to his punch, to his strong side. I will try to prevent this gun disarming mostly because I immediately, when I turn here, even when you're surprised and whatever, some people have a good reflex and you might find yourself in a problem. I don't mean that in several situations, I will not do gun disarming like that. You come here, Pip? It depends on the situation. I just talk about this gun disarming, what's the problematic, and we try to improve it. So from this gun disarming, many times you'll see that people go to the elbow when they do it. And the problem is that many times I took a few elbows in my face and you don't knock down so fast. People that fight don't knock out from one elbow. You need to be very lucky punch for that. What happened now is, do you see, you can move the wrist. You don't have any control on the gun when we fight. Even when you do this, if you push me now with his other hand and pull the gun, pull and push, you'll stay without the gun. So even if you do it in a nice way and he do the same thing to retain the gun, but you see what happened? You might find yourself. So to do this way, or any way with a weapon, you must make sure that you have control. And now if I want like second point, second point, second point, second point, second point, that's how you start again to judge. Do we have the second point or do we have only one point when we do the gun disarming? Remember also I told you about the lever. When I rotate here, if there will be a discharge, it's go to my lever. Because we talk still about damage control. If I go here, I will be hurt, but I will be hurt on this side mostly. That's why when I rotate to his outside, I will not have to deal with this hand. Also, all I need to do is to salute, and I trap the hand. So it's very easy, mostly when you have more than one gun disarming to do this and here. If I want to take him down, it's no matter how, it's no matter if now I go like elbow down, elbow up, I will be immediately disarming him any direction that I want to have the gun. And that's why if I have a chance to rotate to this side, I will prefer this side. It's much more difficult for him to retain the gun and better control for me for anything that I will improvise later on. And if you see, that's not a gun disarming, I just improvise about him because he's a tall guy, I'm smaller, that technique worked for me. If it was different, I would not recommend you to try to get under me to find a different one. But many times when you're a small guy, you can rotate. The problem is that big frame has a lot of power. Small frame like me don't. We need to use a lot of technique, body move. And that's why I will go to the outside. I don't need to deal with this hand. And I have a lot of things that I can go from the outside as a gun disarming later. As you remember, we have 3 dimensions. We talk a little bit about the front, a little bit about the back. Let's a little bit see the side. Before we go to the side, I want to show you very old gun disarming that was used in some counter-terror units in Israel many years ago. And again, that gun disarming is problematic. We'll talk a little bit about the problems with this gun disarming. But again, what we can study from it. The way is not to come and bash this gun disarming is bad. Is okay, what's wrong with this gun disarming, and let's evolve it. Kapap is a developed or progressive system. The main idea why we analyze system is we don't want to study it because we want to really find the reason why, and if there is a better way to do it, we upgrade and upgrade and upgrade. I don't want to do gun disarming because somebody did it in 1960 or 1940. If I can find and analyze and find a better way. There was an old way to do. When you think I'm moving, you say boom. That's the old way to do gun disarming. It's a risk. I'll do it slow. I don't recommend you to do it unless you have to. Like the guy say, hasta la vista. It's good in a few situations, and if you do it properly, you have to do it with a body move so you don't get shot. But if the guy holds tight to the gun and you do it, you might stuck and you cannot do it. And if you see, I put the 2 points very fast. And my problem is either the gun stay in his hand or either the gun drop on the floor. And if he's stronger than you, you have not to fight for the gun, which you don't want. You want the gun in your hand. Gun disarming should be like a magic. Now I'm the boss. If you don't do it as a magician and very quick, the gun is here, I don't care how strong you are. That's stronger than any man. And that's why when you move the bad exercise to a gun disarming from the side, and when I used to be in the police academy, we used to teach it this way. Here, and from here we came with this finger and get in here. And the main problem with this gun disarming, it's not good. We will talk later. But the Israeli Police Academy, we used to teach it. Why? They have a lot of politics. I don't get into politics. I talk and analyze technique, and I don't care if the best Israeli commando do it or the worst unit in the world. I talk only about the technique, what's wrong with them, and analyze and upgrade. So when I do this, first of all, I want to take him farther. That way I can go like for hand locks. It gives me a lot of opportunities. If he stand like this, he can fight back. If he stand like this, he can't. He's in a balance displacement. That's why I don't want to stand him, I want to take him out of balance. So the next move when he's out of balance is just like the same thing. To put, this is the first point, to put the second point in a very quick way, and you have the gun in your hand. Once it's in your hand, you return it back that way, not this way, that way. So if he try to pull it from you, you have to take it with him. And then I can fight with him, clean him when we talk about gun retention. And that's a proper way. Also, remember that every gun has injection window, that when you shoot from here, it's okay. But when you're a lefty, you're just jamming your gun on your shirt. Because the injection shell, when it's come and hit your shell, it's stuck here, and it will jam your gun. So if you do it this way, it's much more safe than to do it this way, from the jamming point, plus from the retain of the gun. So the way that I use is almost the same like I did this way, but this time, and it works also if you in airplane or you sit here and the guy walk in the alley or in a bus, just like that. And the gun is over here. What I do, I smack the ulnar nerve. If you see, it's not like this, it's like this. I give an angle like this. Remember the triangles? So this time it's this way. And I take this and I smack the, so you see like my angle for him is like a triangle. And that's why from here, I'll smack the ulnar nerve that you can feel it if you push something here, you will feel the ulnar nerve. I smack also the tendon because I do it very quick. You see, I smack the tendon. And on the same time, I immediately create the second point and take it out. If you do it rude, your hand will be numb a little bit. And mostly, I'll not do it so soft and immediately to create the distance to take the gun away. That's, for example, for gun disarming from the side. We talk about problems. When you do it from here, and I have only one finger, I have only one finger to fight with him. And I'll explain it in a next demo. Remember I told you this is 1, this is 2, and this is wrong. How many fingers you see here? You see only my thumb. Let's say that now when I fight with him, there was a mischarge. He shoot, so the shell jump out. I didn't jam it. The shell can jump out from the window because I hold the barrel. Because for example, with this gun, the P92 Beretta, I hold the barrel. I don't hold the chamber window. So what happened is like when I'm over here, there was a discharge, the gun load a new bullet. We're still under the fight. It's not mean that only you can fight him or take the gun. When you do this, you smack my face, smack. And now what you face? A gun that can be shoot. Or under the struggle now, he can back the gun and shoot, and you got a bullet to your body. Let's do it differently. This time, Brian moved my hand, and he come first like this way. So like, if we fight, my first gun retention, I'm not talking about smack, my first gun retention is to put my 2 points on the gun, because you have already 2 points, but his point is weak. So immediately I do this. You will lose. But if he comes this way, first, do you remember, he can jam the hammer, see? So that's why first move is almost the last move, because if you jam the hammer, now it's much more safe for you to disarm it than like this way. That how can he jam my hammer now? Now if I power, what happens if I'm a small frame? If I'm like my wife, how can my wife can fight with one finger? But when it's here, push back when I do it, push to my body, he will win. Of course we can add all of those nonsense, but and we will in under the fight. But stop making it like a movie and everything is like, that will not save your life. That's a choreographic and nothing more. If you want really to judge yourself, if you have to fight. I can tell Brian to try to shoot me at any time, and I will disarming him and show you that he can fight as much as he wants for the gun, and the gun will be in my hand. So I have a gun in my front, and I have a gun in my side. And right now, just as I analyze, of course, there could be both here. It could be also that one will held with the left and one with the right. And we have all of those games with light, without lights. After I've been pepper spray, I have to feel it, and just by lighting my eyes, and then to perform the gun disarming under hard circumstance. Right now, we just start to analyze how to teach gun disarming slowly, not to go to the advanced level. So the next move, I have 2 guns pointing to me, one to my side up, one to my front down. And the first thing I have to do, I will have to lock it one end a little bit up, one end like, and please don't shoot me, please don't shoot me. And the next way, I have to react like 10 times before they will react, like 1. And if you see, if there will be a discharge, it will go to their body. So right now you can see that I don't need to use sights. I use a point shooting again. And that's why it's very important when you study gun defense to use point shooting. That's the best system for close distance, like 21 feet. Over 21 feet, yes, put your sights. Before 21 feet, if you put sights, mostly you get into a problem, mostly if it's a knife. And later on, we will talk about the Tuller rule or the 21 feet rule. So, for example, I did it 1, and you try to say boom when I move. Good. So this is 2, and now 3. So you go like for 10. And when you have 10 of 10, they shot themselves. And take a look, it's not like this, it's this. And also, you have to bring them close and parallel. Don't hold the gun like this, parallel. This is why you have to do it only 5,000 times, like 1, 2. And you will see that it looks very simple when I do it. When you try to do it at home, you'll see that it's not so simple. Do it 5,000 times. Bring the L shape here, bring the L shape here, and step forward when you do it. Now, if I want to disarming them, I could come and disarming. That's a technique. But the technique built up by a principle, and I put 2 points. So for example, for Martin, and I show it, for example, one gun, when Martin come a little bit to my side so they can see this way. Okay, so when I do this, I parallel the gun. I have only 1 point. He will immediately try to return. That's why what I do, once I do this, I take my wrist in this motion to create the second point. And then you can smack him, for example, to create the effect that it will be disoriented to take the first gun. The second gun, it was here. I bring it here, and again, I will have to create a second point. So him here, put the finger in. See, his finger is in. I trap the finger, and look, I bring it here. If I bring it up, it will even stuck to you. So of course, when you do this, oops, and now you could also take him on Martin. So I shield both of my enemy in one place, so I can deal with both of enemies. This is example for gun disarming simple drill. It's still not a technique. Another drill, I have a gun here and I have a gun in my bag. So I will do, please don't shoot me. I verify that both of them have a gun. I cooperate, wait for my timing. When you think I'm moving, you say boom, good. You see how I took 1 gun? Can be here. That's the biggest problem, my back. Coming here, take him here, and have the gun. That's still not a technique. I just improvised to show you a basic drill and try to put the 2 guns. And now you do this drill 5,000 times. Better if you do 10,000, but 5,000 is the minimum. Like 2 points of contact are minimum. 1, 2, 3. Once you start to do it, do not show anybody reaction. Like you have to be like, when you think I'm moving, you say boom, okay, 1, 2. See, out, lock, lock. And you have the 2 guns. And that's basic idea to start to disarming guns, 2 guns, 3 guns, 1 gun here, 1 gun here. Then you go for shotguns. And remember, many people talk about line of fire. There's no line of fire. There's a field of fire. When I move gun here, I'm not on the wrist, but my kid or my VIP protection friend, wife, they stand here. If it's your boss in work, it's okay. You can put the field of fire for him. But normally, we want to keep the safe for our family. When I do this, it's create a problem. But I know only this gun disarming now. That's wrong. This is why you have to be able to disarming any direction to any direction. Because if I have a problem to transition the field of fire from here to here, it creates a problem. When I transition the gun down, if there will be a discharge, because this is a mat, the bullet will stay down. But if you're in a wood house, and mostly in California it's a wood house, for example, and the bullet might go down to my kid bedroom, don't do it, take it up. So if it's go out to the air, it's much better. If you live in a country that it's a concrete, or you find yourself in a concrete or cement, like in a parking lot, and you do this, the ricochet might come to your face or to another person. That's why you have to control also the field of fire, not only to control the gun. It's like you want to control the head of the snake, and the poison, the bullet, will not go out.
One of the main features that weapon retention, Kapap uses a lot of research during the process of finding the best system or finding the most appropriate system for the common person on the street. We did a lot of research, and one of the manual books that we came up with was in the state of New York. It's a very simple retention system that is used in the police academies. A lot of police academies now start to develop their own curriculum. And we found this specific manual book very beneficial for our purpose because it's a very simple, straightforward manual book. And from this manual book, we took the system that is called SPEC, and I will go in to demo what is the SPEC. Yeah, for the usual person that is carrying a handgun or for self-defense, usually he carries it on his waistband. Most of the time, it's going to be concealed, and the concealment. Everybody has his own preference for concealment and carry options. I'm going to talk about the most common carry condition when the gun is exposed. Basically, it's more for police officers and security guards which are carrying the handgun. Most of the cases that you will see problems with the handguns is the cases that the person that is carrying the handgun is got shot by his own handgun. And this is why we need to also evaluate a lot of principles which start even with the dress code. Dress code can be very problematic if you don't know how to start to begin with to plan where you put your tools around you. One of the main tools of security personnel or police officers is the handgun. And when the handgun is being carried away in a unsecured holster or unappropriate way, it can be used against you. And therefore, we want to start with the feature of dress code. When I start talking about the dress code, I'm talking about a proper carry condition. And for this case, we're going to do a demo with the most common holster, which is an exposed holster or a pancake holster, which has another feature that locks over the hammer. This feature here is a thumb brake safety, which beyond the carrying or holding the handgun itself has another strap which can be which will secure the handgun inside the holster, and will need another feature to break the strap with my thumb or in another way just to pull the handgun out. So this is the first safety feature that we're talking about. Okay, after we spoke about the first safety feature, which is the level of security on that holster, we're going to go for the actual retention, or the actual system of retention that we call SPEC. SPEC stands for S for secure, P for position, E for effect release, and C for create distance. When we're talking about the secure, the S that stands for secure in SPEC, we're going to talk about the approach of how a person needs to eventually, how you first of all engage, or what is your first action when things go south. Most of the problem starts when somebody's carrying his handgun and the perpetrator or the opponent or the whatever you want to call it, or the criminal wants to use your own handgun and to take it away from you. So the first action will be securing your handgun inside the holster. So this is the S. I will ask Brian to reach for my handgun and just touch it. Now immediately, as a police officer or a person that carries a handgun, my first action is to have 2 points of contact securing my handgun and preventing from Brian to pull this handgun out. Brian's action will be to try to take the handgun out. In order to do that, he'll need to pull the handgun out in an elevation type of movement. My movement will be to counter that and secure it, and to start to push my handgun back in the holster. So this is the secure point. And if we will turn so the camera will see the exact angle, we'll stand here, and any type of approach from Brian to my holster, my first reaction will be 2 hands on a handgun and securing the handgun inside the holster. Now, even if Brian had the opportunity to reach and start to put the hand over the handgun, again, I'm touching my handgun over this and I'm pushing it towards my inside my holster. We spoke about the S, which is the secure. Now I'm going to talk about the P. The P is the position. The position here is very crucial to the entire technique itself, or the entire system, because this will create the next ground for the next effect. It's a one continuous move, and when we do the spec, you have to understand that it's a building block for the other techniques that will follow. So basic weapon retention has to start with first the secure, which is the first aspect that we spoke about. And this is the first move that we do in order to secure, to prevent from the weapon to come outside from your holster. When it's coming outside from your holster, it's a different ballgame. Now, you're fighting in order to keep that weapon inside the holster. After Brian has reached and touched my handgun and I secured, okay, the next thing we'll do is to pull away, or to lower my center of gravity, and to position myself in a way that he's not he's not on the top of the game here, and I have still the advantage to be in the fight. So what I'm going to do next, after I touch the weapon, I'm going to lower my silhouette and take my center of gravity down. This will prevent from Brian again to be in the fight. Okay, after we spoke about secure and position, next effect will be to effect a release. Effect release, that means that I need to create another point in order to break the release from Brian's hold and from my holster or my handgun. And I will do that after I did the secure, the position, and now will come the blow that will take the hand and will separate it from up to down in a one continuous move. After we spoke about the effect release, and now that release is broken, we need to create as much distance as we can, because we cannot stay in the fight zone when Brian is too close to me, because now I know his intention is to take my handgun or to fight for my handgun, and now I'm compromising my own security or my own safety if I'm losing my handgun to the perpetrator. So after I finish the cycle of effecting the release, and I have Brian in this position, okay, I broke the release, okay, and now I'm doing everything that I can in order to create a distance. From here, I control the subject much better in order to give him any order to continue or to stop. And from this point on, verbally I command him to stop, and therefore we go for the escalation of force.
Okay, let's go back into weapons, into some arm techniques. One of the basic, most fundamental weapons out there is a knife. It's everywhere in the world. They used it ever since man was out there. A cutting tool. Makes a lot of damage. I think it's by a lot of martial artists is very underestimated, and I think that's the most dangerous tool, especially in close quarters. In a range like this, if I had to get in a life-threatening conflict with somebody, I would rather have a knife than a gun. Can do much more damage. There's not knives out there today, serrated, blade, all types of mean-looking blades are tactically designed to hurt and maim and stuff like that. A lot of good companies out there. Knife is just a vicious tool in the right hands. Even in unskilled hands, it's still vicious and dangerous, because it doesn't take much to do this or do this, and it's still going to do damage. Although you train all your life, but in a skillful hand, it's going to be very, very devastating. Okay, so let's review real quick the angles of attack that you've probably seen in the previous episode. You're probably going to be familiar with either Kapap DVDs or some other Filipino martial arts that we go by. We integrated only the best parts of Filipino martial arts that is relevant to us from different styles, Kali Arnis. A lot of it was influenced from CSSD Mona Arnis. Let's go quick through the angles, and then we're gonna go over some principles. Okay, so let's just start by angles of attack. I'm standing here, knife outside. Remember, knife versus knife. Always you want to have the knife outside. Think of like kind of like a fencing match. Okay, you don't want to have your hand outside if you're fighting another guy that's got a blade in his hand, because everything outside is going to be a target and will get cut. Okay, so you're closed behind the knife. You're closing. You're not opening. Let me just go through real quick the angles of attack. We can see it from here. I got the 1 coming from upper diagonal to bottom, 2 backhand upper diagonal to bottom. We got 3 horizontal slash. We got 4 backhand horizontal slash left to right, and we got the stab. Later on, of course, we got 6 and 7, and we got the 12s and all the angles. We're just gonna focus on the basic slash scenario. Somebody that's on the street most likely is gonna encounter. Not so much with the fancy ones, but even though with the fancy ones or the more advanced one, not just necessarily fancy, we're also going to talk about, because basically what we're trying to do is narrow it down and break it down so you're going to have as minimal tools to stop multiple attacks. Okay, let's go back, talk about some techniques and wrong techniques, pretty much most commonly used mistakes, and techniques you've probably seen in many other Israeli martial arts you might be familiar with. We're going to show the most common techniques and their mistakes, why it doesn't work, and what is the danger of applying that technique. Mainly the danger is not for your attacker, it's for yourself mainly. So how to avoid a technique or how to better yourself. But what I'm trying to show you here is how common sense kicks in the technique, or to that defense that this one kind of is lacking common sense. Okay, so Brian is actually going to attack me with the common upper stab. Familiar with that? Okay. Lower stab. Familiar. I'm sure you've seen it before. Okay, so let's kind of break it down and see what's wrong with it. I know it looks really cool and everything, but let's put some common sense behind and see what can go very, very wrong and very, very fatal. Okay, so let's do it first time, and then we're gonna break it. Okay. Brian thinks that he's got a longer reach. He can rely on that. Yeah, maybe if we're in a boxing match, this jab is probably definitely gonna reach me before I'm gonna reach him. Okay, but it's not a boxing match, and I got this. It's a 4-inch blade, trainer blade, but in real life, it's gonna cut like butter. Okay, strip all the way to the bones. You can go see more proof DVDs. You can see how much damage it does to soft tissue if you don't take my word for it. But the minute, let's break it down. Let's do it in a little slower motion. The minute he did that, look where my knife is. Even if he didn't do anything, don't forget, I still got this hand up. I'm not gonna just attack him like this. Okay, this is not some choreography of a movie. I'm gonna have both my hands up. We're still in a fight. Even if I don't know what I'm doing. From here, boom. I might just slide down along his hand. I'm not even planning on doing that. Okay, slide down his hand line and reach all the way to his rib cage, or here, even worse, the artery goes in the armpit. Now, let's say I got a little bit of skill or a little bit know what I'm doing here. The minute he does that, okay, I'm planning on doing that. Get that hand here, get out of the way, stab from here, slash the belly, stab from above, get him in a tight clinch or spin. And it's all over from here. Another variation, another mistake that can happen, I set him up. This is from a little bit more advanced. I set him up for that kind of like telegraphing. It's kind of telegraphing your right hand coming with a left hook to the body. Same idea, for a little bit more advanced. Same thing, do it slower. Okay, I set him up with this, look what happened. Had my blade up, soon as I've seen this, and don't forget, the most commonly mistakes, never emphasize a blocking with the darker part of your hand, the hairy part of your hand, your arm, your forearm, is always blocking. I never ever seen proper block with a darker part, maybe in Filipino martial arts, definitely know how to block it properly. But in those commonly mistake systems, always the softer part, the part with all the arteries, with all the nerves running down here. So from here I set them up. If you cannot see, look close, you're gonna be really slow now. From here, I set them up and look what I'm doing, changing my mind the last minute. And I'm gonna come with almost like a overhand slash, goes all the way inside. And of course from here, I'm gonna get out of the way and get a nice stab, whether on the inside, stealing his center line from here. But that alone here, that's a fight finisher right here, that slash. Okay, so another variation I can do, I can set him up. Also known as the trapping range, Filipino martial art guys, you're gonna be familiar with gunting, the trapping techniques. From here, boom, look what I'm doing, I'm just hooking it right here. If I got a double edge, is even better, but still nonetheless. From here, cut the biceps right here and work my way from the top. Cut the biceps, parry, slash into the neck, do my thing here. Another variation with the gunting from here, trap, come from the side, look what I'm doing, power assisted, and just squeeze right in, squeeze the knife into the gut. There's a lot of setups, that's more in the skill guy, but even you see a guy just going nuts just by doing this, coming inside, and right into the rib cage out of panic or out of lack of experience. We're going to talk about a defense that's very popular out there from a very typical stab that we used to call the Middle Eastern stab, just because of the way it was commonly performed, and commonly people got attacked with that stab. It looks like this pretty much from here, and from the bottom to top, and guts out, either blade up or blade down. Most of them use blade up just for the continuous motion to create more upper damage to the torso and the midsection area. Let's see what's the problem with this attack. Juan is going to perform the defense. Looks familiar? Very impressive. Let's see the damages and the mistakes that can happen by performing this technique. Okay. Let's break it down a little bit. From here, I come, whether my blade is currently going to be down. I'm going to show you why. From here, again, you see how I deflect that? I got my hand up, move maybe a little bit of a head motion from here. Like I said, if you get punched in the head, most likely what's going to happen, he's going to break his knuckles. I didn't see too many people go down with a head punch. From here, I still got the target here. You can see what's going to happen if I am sliding it all the way up. Oh, it's going to ride all the way to the armpit right here and stab. If I know a little bit of what I'm doing here and I'm oriented with that, from here, all I got to do is trap the hand from the inside. I'm sure every wrestler knows that move. Just trap the arm from the inside, pull and push. Same principle we talked about before. And there goes the femoral artery right here. And I got the complete opening of the back, stab, and you know the rest. Okay? Another variation, that's blade down. Okay? Whether you're carrying a straight, a single edge or a double edge, it doesn't matter, because then you can work both ways. Sometimes it's going to be for your benefit, but let's work this time blade up. From here, look what happens. As he does that, I deflect and I pull in. You see how he's exposed here? Remember we talked about fight finishers? This is a fight finisher. He cannot afford to take a cut from here. Remember, take in, take on away. I'm not going to be standing here. Oh, very good. From here, as soon as I feel that, especially if my blade is up, look what happens instinctively as he punched me. Oh, I'm still going to take it on the way out, even if I don't know anything better. Just because I'm clumsy or just because I got hit in the face. From here, a punch, pull back. Now, I hope everybody can see here when I'm actually slicing, completely by an instinct here, cutting it down. Okay, so we saw that the most commonly mistake from here, there's so many options I can do from here. I can trap, I can set up and slice, I can trap, come from above, come from under. There's a lot of options. Same here for the bottom ones. I can come here, I can trap, I can slice, and I can keep on going. Okay, that's going to create a lot of problems. Whoever I mean, for those of you who never got exposed to like knife cultures or Filipino martial arts in general, go train. We encourage people to go and train and get the orientation of the blade arts and how dangerous a blade is, and then challenge those techniques if you disagree with them. It's your right, but you always have the option of going and exploring, and hopefully you're gonna stay safe. Okay, just to kind of sum up the knife, this edge weapon techniques here in a little segment. I'm just going to show you different variations of knife that are now is commonly out there. Knife that has been out there ever since the 10th century, but never exposed to the West till previous years. I'm talking about the karambit. It's a cold steel karambit. Another thing that we can also talk about this knife, and it's one of my favorite. One of the reasons it's really very difficult to disarm. You can see I got a ring here, so even for a forward grip, or for a reverse grip, I can still utilize it. It's going to be extremely hard to disarm. Even if I fall on the ground, the knife is still in my hand. You can also see by the curved blade, the original blades were actually double, but doesn't matter. This blade is extremely razor sharp, made by cold steel. You can stab. We're going to talk about stabbing areas, vital point. And this knife is very dangerous when it comes to disarm. You cannot do all those tricks and hitting the hand. It just goes out the window just because of the simple fact it's got a ring on it. Okay, this going back to the karambit, I got a Steve Tarani trainer here from Aluminum Trainer. It's safe to train with, but still you can see that it mimics the same ideas. The thing with the karambit, if you know how to use it, you got extended grips. You can use it in a forward grip, putting it through your pinky, or in a reverse grip, which I prefer personally, just because even if you don't know anything about anything, you can still utilize your boxing technique. And as opposed to holding a straight blade, it's going to go right before your knuckle line. Actually, this, you can see how far it is, goes past your knuckle line. So the first thing it's going to contact is actually going to be the tip of the karambit. Okay, you can see from here, you can see from this angle, a straight right, a right hook, right to the body, whichever attack you're going to do with that, it's going to work even if you don't know anything from nothing. If you're a little bit skilled, you can actually use it to slash from here and twirl around and come back and rip. So 1, 2, and rip, get inside and out. Karambit is very good as a trapping point. You can trap the arm, work your triangles from here, 1, 2, 3. You can work the same thing on the rib cage from here, disengage. You can work the same from the groin, all those body triangles that we worked on. Remember when we talked about working angles? Triangle, 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 okay? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, rib cage, gut, 1, 2, 3. Triangles of the body, vital point. Target those on one lethal point. For example, I got an attacker. From here, I can deflect it and go straight to the joint, immobilizing the joint. He's still gonna live. I'm gonna target joints, not arteries or anything. Of course, you always have the risk of puncturing by mistakes, but from here, it's like getting shot tactically. You shoot the hip. There's a very common point in shooting to disable the guy from walking. Same idea from here. You can come, I deflect from here, boom, punch it, and I just walk away, run away, go to the police, post-conflict, the whole thing. Very good trapping tool. As far as disarming, very, very hard. Very nice, very effective as for trapping. He has, grab my shirt, I can always trap from here, go down the hand, fillet down. It's very lethal, yet non-lethal, depends on your variation and your skill level. Plus, don't forget that little ring here. You can always boom right inside like kind of like a knuckle duster, brass knuckle variation of it. Okay, so you got an impact tool here. Even if you hit that here in the chest cavity, it's gonna hurt. Mouth, even if that is not a double edge, the karambit, the live karambit I showed before, you can always smack with it as an impact tool, smack it and go back to your defense position, just to show you a different variation, a different tool, give you a different mindset, different respect for the blade that is gonna be very, very hard to disarm. You don't think you think it's impossible, that anything like this can reach you. I think you got another thing coming. So keep that in mind. There's different blades, different systems. We still stick to the basic principles we saw here, just something to think about.
Hello, my name is Guru Roger Agbulos. I am a student, original student of the late Punong Guru Edgar Suliti of Lameco Eskrima International, Filipino Combative Arts. And I'm here to share with you some common principles of Filipino martial arts as it is with Kapap. So this is my version. All right, at this point, we're gonna reintroduce again the angles of attack, and that's gonna be 7 strikes, 7 angles, and that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is actually targeting the left temple. If it is in extreme close quarter, it is the left temple, and that's the strike number 1. Angle number 2 is on the elbow, the right elbow of the opponent. That's angle number 3 is on the left elbow of the opponent, and angle number 4 is on the right temple. Angle number 5 is a thrust. Angle number 6 is another thrust, which is the solar plexus, and 7 is the thrust on the heart. So if he's gonna go feed me with the 7 angles, what it is strike number 1 goes on the left temple, right is on the shoulder, the elbow, the right elbow. Left is on my left elbow. Number 4 is on my right temple. Number 5, 6, 7 is the thrust, which is the stomach. Number 6 is on the solar plexus. Number 7 is on the heart. Okay, but that's on extreme or medium to close range. It can also address via on the range of long range, because if he goes with the 7 angles, he's gonna go strike the weapon hand of the opponent, and that's addressing it on the long range. So if I feed him the strike number 1, see, okay. Strike number 2 on the long range, he's hitting my weapon hand. In the Filipino martial arts, which is also common on other martial arts, they call it defanging the snake. So when I feed him number 5, he's gonna go on an outside position because of the linear attack that goes with the thrust. There you go. Again, outside position, go back, and then the inside position, back, inside position one more time, back. So if I'm gonna go thrust from the 6, which is targeting the solar plexus, he's gonna go angle as well, and back, 6, back, and then 7, which is the heart, is gonna go angle this way, back. Good. The reason why you have to move away from the center line when you are when the feeder gives you a thrusting motion is because in reality a thrust goes with the movement of the body, which is a charge. He goes like that. Nobody will give you a charge in this nature. It is always a charge. So it's a forward motion. So you have to address that by moving on the side. So outside position, back, inside position, my inside position, back. And on the 6, outside position, back, 7. Good. On the first progression of this workout, what we're going to do is, again, review the simple counter to a knife attack. So regardless of angle, what we're trying to introduce here is the bugsack, what we call a drop or a cut, which is a knife cut, just going down, simply. So if Uri is going to feed me, I'm going to go move out because I have to be on a safe zone. Because if I don't, I'm going to go cut his weapon hand, he is also going to cut me. So I have to maintain that distance. See? Again. Don't overextend. And number 2, back. Number 3, back. 4, back. 5, I'm going to go outside, back. Outside, inside position, back. And then number 6, thrust here, back. 7, thrust, heart, and back. Now at this point, since we have introduced the 7 angles, what we're going to do is add another element of my cut or my slash with a follow-up of a thrust. because there is that verbiage in the Filipino martial arts, when there's a slash, when there's a thrust, there's a slash. So when there's a cut, there's always a follow-up of a thrust. So if he's gonna feed one, I cut the weapon hand, and I move out, and then I follow. Okay, again, without the motion first. The principle is this, and I follow up. Number two, there you go. Again, one guard. And then I follow. Okay, number 3. 4. 5, outside position. Follow up. But again, inside position. Yeah, one more time. Yeah, outside, inside position. 6. There you go. 6. And move out. At the same time, defang the snake. Follow up. Again. Move up. And then 7. Okay. Again. So, now we have addressed the 7 angles with the technique of cut and thrust. Cut and thrust. Cut and thrust, because you got to complete the story here. Because the guy is not going to give you a chance. You know, he's got to either take you out. So you don't want that. You don't want to be in that situation. That's why we're training ourselves to do certain follow-ups, regardless of angle. Strike 1. See, we follow up. Okay. 2, follow up. Okay. So we're gonna go add another element here, because it's a training. What we're gonna do is also have Uri practice the motion of also moving back and practicing his parry hand or his alive hand. So when he does feed me, see, I go follow up. He's gonna go parry. Nice. And also practice taking that weapon to a ready position like that, which is what we call the always. You should always be in a trigger ready position all the time, because there is no second chances here. So this is good muscle memory to always retain good foundation in our form. So feed number 1, number 2, number 3, nice, 4, very good, 5, outside position, follow up, parry, another 5, parry, 6, move out, parry, nice, 7, nice, very good. At this point, I will now introduce also the other footwork. What we did so far from at this level is the footwork of a shuffle, forward and backward, forward and backward. Same thing with Uri. When I go forward, he does the same, backward, forward. That is the shuffle. We call that in Filipino martial arts the caballero footwork. Because if you don't move, you are exposed to my weapon, which is a threat. Likewise, I expose myself here as well. That's why in this principle, you are to maintain proximity. That's called the dance, sayaw. All right. So at this point, if I'm gonna go his feet, see, look at what he's gonna do. He's gonna go step up, maintain the range. 2, 4. I'm gonna do a little bit of half beat. Okay, now we're gonna do a little bit of another element to this progression, and this is my parry to his parry. So as he feeds, see, I'm gonna go use a different kind of footwork, which is reverse triangle. So again, feed. Okay, reverse triangle. As I expose myself also to his weapon, I'm gonna go address that as well. So my drill is complete. Feet, nice, see, parry, parry, there you go. Because it's a give and take, it's a drill. So be wary of those motions. Feet, nice, good. On guard, 2. Oh. Timing again, 2. Good, 3. Happy. Nice. 4. On proximity, sayaw, the dance. And then reverse footwork, as I parry. And he parries as well. 5. Outside position. Cut. I parry. And he comes back. Nice. Again, 5. Inside position, 5. Again. 6, thrust here. Nice. Again. Got parry. Again, 6. 7. Yeah, 7. So, if we're gonna do freestyle, it's gonna be the same principle. So if he's gonna throw me different angles without the sequence of 1 to 7, let's see how it plays. Any angle. Nice. Okay, at this stage, what we're going to go introduce the progression we call cruzada, which is, they call it also gunting. It is like a simultaneous movement of a parry hand with a slash or a cut as well. So either from open position to closed position, or vice versa, from closed position to open position, depending on the angle. So if Uri is going to feed me 1 to 5 without the footwork movement, if it's feed me 1, the cruzada or the cross or the gunting will be shown as this. That is the cruzada. This is a good technique because it shows the economy of motion. It's at the same time a parry, at the same time there is the cut. All right, so feed number 1, feed number 2, feed number 3, feed number 4. There you go, cut. Feed number 5, always staying out of the center line of the linear direction. Okay, 6. That's the 6, right? Okay, we do cruzada. Let me just demonstrate cruzada in all the angles, and I will change that as we go to the next step. Cruzada. 7. Same. All right. At this point, I'm gonna explain to you that there are weaknesses of certain techniques. Like for instance, strike number 4. With a cruzada, you are forcing cruzada here, but it's no longer efficient because the weapon is close to your face. So if you do this, you're gonna be too late for an execution of the cruzada. So therefore, in this angle, it is a very weak technique. Because also, if he's gonna do that in real time, good. I can't do that. I cannot do a cruzada on the angle of number 4. At the same time, with the angle of number 6, I cannot do cruzada at this point, or 7. The same thing. It is a weakness for this particular angle. So what we're going to do is it's an adaptation of a cruzada, which is, instead of this, we're going to do is, again, is cut, see? And parry. Again. There you go. All right, so once again, when we go number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, cruzada, and number 5, cruzada, number 6, adaptation, yeah, 6, 7, there you go, again, 7, okay, so going back to the give and take drills, or what we've taken so far from the first progression to the second progression, we will use the footwork now in this drill. So he feeds, and I'm gonna go reverse triangle as I parry, and he steps back too. There you go, again, once again. On guard. Number 2. Number 2. Number 3. Again, number 3. Number 4. Again, number 4. 5. 5. Now 5 on the inside. 5. 6. Again, 6, 7, 7. Very good. Go to the next progression, which is what we call Sakai, which is the ride, using the weapon hand as your parry hand. So if he's going to feed me strike number 1, right, this angle, I'm going to go do a Sakai or a parry ride counter. That is the way to go. And you deflect. Okay? So again. Okay, strike number 2. Okay, just the foundation. We'll establish the foundation of the Sakai. Strike number 3. Okay, you want to go low because he's giving you a feed that's low. Because if you don't, even if you parry, but because of the motion of the knife, it's gonna go towards your body, and that we don't want that to happen. So in the training, you gotta go with the dynamics of proper footwork and body form. Number 4. There you go. Number 5. Go. Number 5. Again, going outside the line of attack. Go again. Nice. That's outside position. Inside position, I cannot use, again, it's a weakness of the Sakai for this kind of angle on the inside position, because you're gonna go have the weapon move towards you, which you don't want to happen. At this point, you're gonna use the parry hand, which is still a right at this point. See? Once again. Okay, 6. Deflect. Again, 6. Deflect. 7. I go angle again. I go angle with the Sakai. Alright, again. Okay. Now, what we're going to do now is putting some dynamics into this progression. So with the Sakai, strike number 1. When you do this, you got to close the gap. Alright, and make sure you follow up and check the elbow. Because if not, he's going to go follow up and do a counter on you, and that's what we don't want to happen. Okay, so when he does feed number 1, check elbow, I close the gap, lock. See, this is my follow up. Again, lock, follow up from a different angle. Lock, follow up. Okay, done. Then strike number 2. Stay low, and then go follow up with the parry hand, with the alive hand, here. Okay? Here. And then strike number 3, which is a low line. You gotta stay low as well. Here, and then follow up here, lock. Okay? So again. 4. Follow up. Okay? Here, 5. Check here. Here. If he moves back, he wants to move back his weapon hand. If he does, go ahead. I follow with it. Okay? So that's why there's the sensitivity that goes with this extreme close quarter, medium to close quarter. Alright? You don't even have to see that, because you feel that energy. Number 6. Okay? Again, 6. This time. 7. Close the gap. Lock. All right. Now, completing all the movements in this segment. When we are in this situation of a different angle, say number 2, when you're doing the transfer of that deflection to the left hand, you know you're vulnerable to the follow-up in here, because he's going to go yes or follow-up with a slice on the neck. See here, you don't want that to happen. What we're going to do is that when we are in this position, on all the angles on this side, when we are, this is the position that we want to be careful about, we'll do a second step, which is going back to number 1, which is the same as this. Here, okay? So, completing the angles, all the follow-ups from 1 to 7, it'll appear this way. Up. Number 2. Stay low. 3. 4. 5. Number 5. 6. 7. From another angle. At this point, when it's extreme close quarter, you can use all the other elements of the follow-up, which is close quarter here and this one. Okay, 2. See, step. 3. 4. And that becomes freestyle. Okay? So that ends our progression for our Sakai. The ice pick is preferred, especially when the one that's going to go engage and execute the technique or the strike on you actually would want to hide this, want to hide the knife at a very close range. Usually that's going to be a ice pick position, but that's also one of the simplest to actually do a technique on, because ice pick position, the delivery of the ice pick position, he has to lift his weapon hand, so which is easy on the block. There you go. What we're gonna do here is on the drill is that when he steps, I do the sayaw or the dance. You know, I keep the range. There you go. That's the drill. Nice. Okay. Now I'm gonna go do the parry, which again, the parry has to be correctly executed, which is the palm of the hand, not the fingers. Because again, with that force coming towards me, the finger cannot hold that force. It has to be a good parry on the palm. So, execute. I am from this distance again, see, that's the range. Okay, can also be from here to here. So, again, technique, the disarm, which is a scoop. You see, that's the reverse. The knife, the edge is on the other side. Scoop, okay, scoop, and then grab the handle of the knife. All right, it will be my turn. So from this position, he's gonna be the mirror image of me. So when I step back, when I step forward, he's gonna step back. There you go. Once again. Once again. So I'm gonna, this time I'll be the one to deliver the ice pick position as he block from the inside using the palm of his hand and scoop. There you go. Okay, and his turn. Oh, wait. There you go. I step forward. I step back. Scoop. Go this arm. My turn. Scoop. There you go. This does not take so much energy and the movement of the body. No. What you need to understand is you should have at least the foundation. And that's the triangle. The Kapap triangle right there. You always maintain that. You stay low. a live hand always in place. So it is my turn now. As he defends himself with a block, parry, scoop. There you go. You can block. Sometimes your block is right here, but the technique of the disarm is actually where the weapon hand is, not from here. Because if you're gonna do this, you cannot, because he's not gonna let it go, and there's no technique. It's very hard. You're gonna go struggle. So the way to go about this is when you block, even from low here, you go address that, going up, and then go scoop, scoop. See? The more he holds the weapon, the more tight he is, the more painful it is on the disarm. See? It's very easy to execute. Relax. Again, it's a drill. My turn. Get back. Nice. Very good. Nice. Again, this is taken from Lameko drills of knife fighting. Now, we're going to use practical application of this technique. So from this position, right here. So as he steps forward, application here, scoop, here, right, okay? And then disarm. Scoop, and then go inside. Nice. Here, just, I'm gonna show you from my side, okay? See, right here, that's the first application. Again. Okay, now in reality, the moment you touch this, he's gonna be on a defensive position. He's not gonna allow me. He's either gonna grab my hand, move it towards him, and I'm gonna be in trouble because he's gonna execute a lock. So what I'm gonna do here is when he executes a ice position, an ice pick position on me, I gotta go and intercept to penetrate his wall of defense. Either I hit this one or I hit this before I can do this. Execute. Okay? So again. So for training, just hit the shoulder and do a follow-up here. Okay? Here. Now, that is from the high line. If we're gonna go do a follow-up, or here, on a low line, you cannot do this on the high line because that is not economic on your movement. That's not efficient. So what we're gonna do is adapt a movement which will address the low line. And this is the follow-up, which is very, very, actually this technique from Edgar Suliti was shared to us by one of my brothers, by Balani, who has this background with Silat. Here you go. As you disarm, there you go. From another angle, here. Follow up, lock, disarm. Okay? One more time before we move to the next technique. There you go. All right. The other angle is addressing that on the backhand, because if he thrusts on the ice pick position and he misses, he's going to go follow up on the horizontal angle on my side. I have to address that. So goes one, I move out of range, and he follow-ups with this backhand strike, which I have to address. And the movement here is that, once again, 1, 1, 2. I hit his knee, okay, and then do the follow-up, right, and do the follow-up here, which is very painful. So you got to take it easy. All right, once again, let's start from here. Here you go. All right, this is the technique. Hit, and then do this position right here. Okay. Here, see? Step on his right foot so he can't move. lock, strike his neck. As you go this, as you move your hips, it's going to be painful. At the same time, you can direct that to the knife if you want to do that follow up. All right, once again, to review, we got 1, 2, 3. Follow up on the second backhand. And deflect. 3. 3. Okay, there you go. Once again, on here on the backhand, there's other follow-ups that you can also do. Once you penetrate his defense, you stun him, you can do this, you know, as a lock. That's the lock. So, from another angle, this is a choke. As you lock his weapon hand with your left, and you follow up with this. See? Tap on. All right. Another technique from this angle is here. Stun here, and this is the control right here. You able to do that? It's very hard for the others, but this is the technique. Here. This is arrest and control. There you go. Who's your daddy? In this segment, we're going to go cover the long-range fighting using weaponry, and the tools that we're going to be using is actually a stick. The stick, it could be a real stick or it could be a padded stick, but we have to put emphasis on this instrument being a representative of a real weapon. So if it's a real weapon, you cannot hold the stick, or you cannot use, if it's a blade, you cannot hold the stick because it's going to cut your hands. So we have to apply certain disciplines in how we work out. So it is respecting the weapon. Even if it's padded, you don't want to be careless in the movement, because that if we put that in our muscle memory, that's going to be a very, very bad habit in the movement of self-defense. So once again, this is only a representation of the real tools out there that can happen in the street. So this is a padded stick that we're going to work on. Some of the tools that we can see outside, it's on the real streets, is like a machete like this. So this is very, very dangerous. We use this sometimes in our training, but we make sure that it's a training blade, so it's dulled. But once again, we use padded sticks in our workout, and we will address that in our workout today. So, on an on-guard position, you must always maintain on-guard position, because if you are in this position, which is possible on sparring or fighting, but if you're gonna go hit, if you're gonna go initiate a strike and you do this position, what you did was actually initiate a movement that is telegraphing to the opponent. So therefore, you're gonna get, that's not a good positioning, because if I telegraph my move, he's gonna go counter me right away. What we need to put in our movement is that the economy of motion concept, which is very minimal move, but addressing, with power, with delivery of a strike in small moves. So what we're gonna do is maintain this movement right here in this position, which is the, we call it a center position, because all we're gonna do at this point is actually, we call a drop or a bug sock, because if he's gonna go strike number 1, which is hitting my temple, I can address that hitting the weapon. And also from the exercise we did a while ago, we maintained distancing. So what we did was move out at the same time striking. Once again, strike the weapon hand, defanging the stake. This weapon hand, if that's the hand, you're gonna go strike, and you can do a follow-up. There you go, all right? If we're gonna do the same technique for strike number 2, you gotta move out of the way, because if he's gonna do that for like 100, 130 miles per hour, you are in danger, you are in a very, very bad position. So what you wanna do is protect yourself by moving away. At the same time is doing a strike simultaneous. That is the principle of economy of motion. You see, it's not like this. 1 and 2. Rather, there you go. Number 3, it's the same thing. Number 4, number 5. Since he is charging, because it's a thrusting motion, you move either outside position as you hit the weapon hand, or inside position. There you go. Okay, again. There you go. Now, what I did was actually a technique called the kind of strike is called broken strike. See, so it goes back to my on guard position. You do not work out doing this and staying in that place. You don't want to do that. What you want to do is after you initiate, you go back to your on guard position. If your on guard position is this is where you want to end. So therefore, strike 1. Okay? Okay. 1, 2, 2, 5. Now this is just a target because you can do a follow-up again. Strike number 1. Here again. You can angle here. All right. 1, 2. Okay. Okay. Here. All right. But simply attacking defying the snake first is what we want to address to add up to your skill. We can also, from the broken strike, you can do a flow. So as you strike 1, see, and your cue here is as he motioned for a strike. He lifts up, that's when you strike. You strike his hand. One more time. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. Okay, very good. So if he's gonna go feed and doing some exchange, a variation of a broken and a flow, this is how he's gonna go. 2. Okay, so that's the long range. We can also use the medium range, in which the medium range, this is the long range, where at this point, in sparring, you can only hit the weapon hand. When it comes to medium, this is medium range, wherein you can apply parry, right? So it's strike number 1. See. Okay, so with parry hand, okay. 2, you can do a block. 3, 4, again 4, 5, 5. Okay, the important idea here is when you work up is that you're 5 and you're gonna go deflect. If it's a machete, you're gonna make sure you're out of the range because he's gonna cut your leg. All right, again 5. See here. Okay, in this segment what we're going to do is apply the techniques that we've used so far from the different weaponry here, from the knife versus empty hands, or knife versus knife. What we're going to, at this point, what we're going to do is empty hands versus somebody with a weaponry. You must understand that at in this situation, he definitely has the advantage, because with the weaponry, you must understand that if you are not within the close quarter position with the one that's gonna engage with a strike, you are no match for this for the assailant, you know, because he's gonna go strike you and you are within his range. You don't want that to happen. The way to look at this is that when he strikes, you either get out of the range, right? So you either get out of the range or you get in the range only after his delivery. So that's one. Here, right? So here, there's one. You use follow-up techniques, that's gonna hurt him so bad. Do a follow-up. So the way to address this again is let him do his strike, go out of the range, and you go inside. Make sure your approach is once it passes your center line. That is your cue, because you don't want to go too early as you're gonna go get hit. So you want to go past the center line and go so here. There you go. And then you do a follow. So that is before. You can also go, oh actually that is after, sorry. That is after. Are we okay with that so far? We're just gonna edit, right? Okay. So once again, that's after. Then you go inside. And this is before. Similar to the knife, you hit his throat or his neck, in his vagus vein, and you do it his arm right after from a different angle. You go inside, right, as you disarm. Okay, or you can also go inside. You can use the same principle from the knife. Here you go. For I address and control. At this point, his weaponry is useless. There's nothing you can do about it. Okay? If this is going to go for a thrust, here you go. All right? And do a follow. You can also disarm, you know. Okay? In this position right here. Yeah, backhand. Okay. Do the same. Yeah. Okay. So that's self-defense. A good way to when you close the gap and you want to go when you want to go address the attack, you must make sure that you do not catch the stick from that way, because you're gonna go hurt yourself, especially when if it's a impact weapon. It's gonna hurt so bad. And if it's an edge or a blade, all the more you don't want to do that. The way to go is when he lifts, that's your cue. That's when you come in, and you're gonna go inside with your palm to stop that force as you initiate the techniques that you want to do. You address where it is gonna make the most impact. So here, 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 or here. No? As you do with this arm. Okay? Okay. Follow up. That's a good follow up. So if it's in this position, you don't want to catch the weapon here, right? Or you don't want to do this. It's going to hurt so bad, it might end up being broken. So what you're going to do is intercept. As he lifts it, that's when you go inside. There you go. So do a follow up, and there you go.
Hi, Today we're going to introduce some ground techniques that Kapap Academy is exploring together with Professor John Machado from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay, so now here we have the choke hold, okay, happening. Okay, it's a common mistake. People try to go this way. As I go this way, I'm choking myself because I'm turning against the choke. Each time I turn this way, I'm choking myself. Okay, so here the principle of the gi is that the gi will teach you the direction that you must go to escape. Okay, because I have to open the choke up. When you have only no gi training, the person is just hugging you. If a person is just hugging me, okay, now it's okay. You can go this way, that way. It doesn't matter. There's nothing on my neck, so you can go any side. All right. So here now, when you have the choke, okay, what I'm gonna do here, I'm going to escape this way in favor. Okay, so I have a few elements happening here. My hip, okay, and the arm control. Okay, the most important being first the arm, just to stop the motion. See, if I get worried just about the body, but do nothing about the arm, he can choke me very fast. Okay, so first I'm gonna trap the arm to stop the elbow, the hand, okay, like that. And now I'm escaping into the person. So now doing this whole movement, I'm not being pressure on my neck. Okay, now I can go all the way to the side, okay, which now I have already a joint lock situation here, okay, and I can pursue with the throw, finishing, okay, with a strike or with an arm bar. All right. Okay, so now here we have the knife situation. Okay, so very similar to the choke. Okay, the escape will be on the same side, on the opening. Okay, but now even more important, so because you cannot afford any mistake, because now it's life-threatening. One mistake, you're dead. So here, as you go for your control, okay, it's very important. As you go here, I'm actually pushing the knife in at first here to release the pressure in case it's too tight. Okay, if it's too much here, as you go for the control, you actually push it in. So you open a little gap. As soon as you do that, you open the knife. Okay, so okay, 1, 2. Now my whole body, my hip, my shoulders, okay, I'll step to the opening here. Now you're back on the same situation. We have the angle here, I have the leverage. Okay, now at this moment the knife can turn into him. Okay, can turn into the opponent, or I pursue to the ground. Once you go to the ground, okay, you have the control, you can send back to him, okay, can go into a lock, okay, or disarm altogether. All right, so another idea here is a concept that we are developing here, is to use the mount escapes in Jiu-Jitsu with the knife defense and start putting everything together. So it's something that needs to be worked very well, okay, but it's a concept that we're discussing. So here, bang, you can block, okay, and bring directly into our Americana finishing hold, which I already have, or pursue that, okay, with the escape, so keep going for the finishing hold. Or what you can do here, okay, now as you block, change sides, trap, now the blade's facing the opponent. So now I gotta be really careful, because as I raise my body now, okay, the knife's against the opponent. Okay, so he's stabbing himself, and I'm gonna push very careful into his body. See, so the knife's going that way. Okay, even if the fake knife, you must be careful because you can hurt yourself. Okay, so one more time. So bang, bang, bang. Okay, hip up, and then I turn into the very careful. And here, okay, the control is still pursuing the finishing here. Okay. Now this is another idea from Kapap with the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's a concept where it doesn't matter how he strikes the knife. I'll block, okay? One more time. Block. Now I can directly into a finishing hold here, okay? And pursuing with the UPA escape, up, turning, okay? Now you can keep doing the armbar, all right? Okay, you have the full Americana on the guy here, okay? The second idea will be to block, switch, okay? Switch hands, so 1, 2, bring it. Once you get this side, bring your elbow in, so you make sure the knife is pointing at him, okay? And now it's very dangerous even to practice with a fake knife, with a hard knife. You gotta be really careful. Do I use a soft knife, to practice, or keep on the side for now? Because as I do the UPA, that's it, the knife goes in, okay? And then you keep turning, okay? And you still have the strike over here. It's over. So it's a deadly escape. So try use a soft knife to practice that safely, okay? But the idea is realistic, is it's for real. Okay, the same idea now we will apply to the gun defense, okay? And it's not a position to be. I don't like to be on the end of the barrel, but here is the same idea, the same mount escape, the same idea of getting out of the range of fire, okay, as quick as you can, being that the priority. Then the escape, the second priority. So here, okay, will be the arms. My arms are already up, as you keep in a mounted defense anyways, working on the gun and on the wrist, okay, pushing to the side as I move my head to the side. So here, you notice that I'm not flat on my back, it's too much grinding on the ground. See, I'm up a little bit, see, so that's why the core is important, so you can do this move very fast, okay? 1, now 2, bring it in, so my elbow, my whole body is coming in, so I point it to him again. So now, the same idea, okay, here, UPA, turn, see? And I can keep here. The gun, if the gun didn't fire here now, I can take it away. Okay, so now let's talk about the turtle position, a concept. I mean, can apply in any situation. It's a concept, so it goes anywhere. And here with Fred, okay, we're gonna talk about, let's say the guillotine, okay, for example, the guillotine attack, okay, the first one. So my neck will be here, in this way, okay, so my neck's in control. So here, if this arm, I will have 1 point, okay, and with my head will be the second point, okay, so I will go for the takedown. As I go here, I keep rotating in, okay, like I'm coming to this position here, see, so like this, by facing him, my head facing him, it's already the escape from the guillotine, all right, because if I follow, I'm throwing him and following myself, I'm putting my neck into the guillotine again, in case he insists on the position. So, one more time, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm out, okay. The common mistake is to follow. I'll do one time, okay. If you throw and follow your neck into the situation, now I have to restart the escape, okay? If it happens, it's a whole different situation. So with this drill right now, you avoid the guillotine altogether. You escape, okay? Now same application from the side, okay? So Fred has I'm on the turtle, the side control. I'll stretch my leg, the back leg, okay? As I stretch the back leg, I have the second point over here, okay? As I slide my knee inside. So we move again, 1, slide my knee inside, I have the second point. Bang, I'm on top, okay? Okay, one more time from the other side. Is that? Okay, so be 1 leg out, okay? As I slide my knee in, my arm is against his body, so I have the 2 points right here. 1, and the leg, 2, okay? Okay, I'm on top, okay? can follow good combinations. All right. Okay, so now we will talk about the control here on this situation, specifically the side control, and where I'm looking, okay, for control points. So here, I also talked to Avi and Albert about these, how stand you have the 2 points, then the application on the ground, how you go from 2, you try to get to 3 and 4, okay? So you're like a pyramid, okay, or a cube, okay? So like a square. So for example, once you get to a side control, if I have this base here, okay, people, they do a lot of mistakes because they stay the legs too close together, okay, and then they're off base this way, you see? So here, what I'm looking for is the arm has one control, see? I extend my leg up, so they give me another control over there on my foot. Plus I have my hip, okay, centered on the ground, okay? And here I lean forward to avoid the push to the back. Let's say you do a rocking chair, Fred. See, to avoid this escape, okay? So I with my foot here, yeah, go slow. See, oh, I'm leaning forward. He's not going anywhere. See, because I have a good solid position here, okay? With the 4 points right now, the elbow, the hip, and both legs are working, okay? So I have base 1, 2, 3, 4 right now, okay? If he changes, I change. So here I can switch to the front control here, okay? The arm over the shoulder, so not my knee against the hip, okay? So I have again the 4 points, okay? So here, my arms, my knee, and my foot on the other side, okay? If I need to switch this way, okay? Same thing, I have the same situation, the leg, this foot, my hip, and my arm. And again, I'm leaning forward, because when you're sided, you have to watch the back push here. So I'm strong here, if I push, I have the control, plus this hand here, you can hold on. That's when you can use the cloth, you can hold on here on his clothes, or you can hook the leg itself to give you extra control, all right? And then you're ready to move on to the mount, okay? Or start operating here, the finishing holds. But all of the next position or the finishing will be a result of your control. If you don't have a good control, you have nothing, okay? So one more time. So good drills you can do here, okay, will be from the side control to switch, okay? Square off, switch to this side again, okay? Now back into a cross-face situation, the 4 points again, both arms and both legs, okay? Switching this way again. See, as I'm switching, things are already coming handy here. See, the arm is already outside just because I'm switching, okay? This arm is already vulnerable. So I can go for submission hold here, okay? And then you start, okay? Switch, walk around to the other side, switching from side to side. I have the mount, okay? Square off, okay? Switch this side again. Back to the front again, cross face, okay? So these kind of drills will help you to build this concept of the 3 points or 4 points on the ground. Let's talk about the chokes, the concepts, okay? That are more important than how many techniques you know, but how well you do the techniques that you know. And the importance is to understand the concept of the choke, okay? So here is my student, Luis Baek, okay? So a simple collar choke, okay? I'm gonna start from here, okay? So we're gonna develop 2 points here of control, okay? So bring his head here, down. So once I bring his head down, okay, I have my hand, my forearm blocking here, my hand going under, and I have the collar. So if he stays here, of course, I have the finishing. But it's not, because I only have 2 points right now, he can find the window here of escape, always, okay? Going out that way, which is the opening here. So I bring him down again, right? One more time. Okay. All right. So now I'll close that window. So you start building the relative position, because no technique is a 100% every single time. It's part of the training to build up the realistic approach. So you go for a technique, he starts escaping, you adapt and go to the next step to look for another point of control, and he's looking for another window to escape, and so forth, so on. So one, as I go here now, I'll bring him to the side to close it. Okay, so now violation. He can escape out that way. Very good. Okay, so now here, I'll try here, okay, to trap his arm. Know what I mean? And try to look for a better control. I will keep progressing so I can succeed on that choke. Okay, let's work another approach now here. Okay, so as I bring his head down now, I'll step up so I trap him under my legs, under my hips for the choke. But he can still do the throw, the takedown, and escape. So you keep progressing. I keep progressing on my attack. Okay, that's to develop the relative positioning. Okay, so one more time. So now I'll look for even better position. Go this way. 1, 2, 3. So now, okay, back. I have a position because I have too many points in my favor now. So once you start understanding that, you'll be more proficient in your finishing holds, and you will help each other to escape from the positions, okay? Okay, so now we will demonstrate here some drills for you to build your reflex against multiple opponents. So very important to engage fast and block your opponent before you get kicked into your head. And you must understand that in martial arts, I mean, especially on the ground, you must have a strong core, okay? Because if you don't, it takes too long to move, too long to react, you cannot perform your techniques. So all those drills are a fun way for you to develop that. So you just take your time, build up little by little, your core will be like stronger than ever. So Luis, start slow, demonstrating, okay? Good. And slower you do, harder it is, okay? So he's bringing his hip really high. So less contact with the surface, so you move it easier on the ground. Okay, so you're working everything here. So little by little, you know, you start developing you keep at the speed. Back up a bit and then, yeah, vai aumentando a velocidade. Yeah, vai aumentando. Yes. Leonard, stick closer. Aqui, bloqueia a cabeça. Isso. Vou tentar te chutar aqui, defende, traz a perna lá. Sweep Elena. Next time sweep Elena, then sweep me right after. Go. Sweep her. Raspa ela e raspa eu, vai. When you go here, slow. Then faz comigo e me raspa também. Very good. Okay?
Next thing that we are explaining, it's the core concept of Kapap mixed with skills that we picked up from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Professor here will show and talk about some applications from the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu along with his student Luis, and I will later on explain how we will perform the same techniques or based on same principles with combative applications with a handgun. So Professor, please take over.
Okay, Luis. So here we're gonna do some movements, some drills that we use for conditioning to confuse your muscles so your body is ready to react to any situation. So let's start, Luis. The rocking chairs. They're good, back and forth. Tá na cadeira, é isso?
Pode ser?
Pode.
Isso
Pode. Switching base. Fazer sentada, sentando indo pra cima, isso. Na minha direção. Okay? So here we use that for many situations. Vai lá. Come here so he can come on top for the takedowns. From the guard, push, sit up. So he's ready to come for the sweeps. Okay? always facing the target, sempre always moving around, de novo, posição lá. Ok? Mais uma vez, deita. Senta, já vai para os costas. Very good tamanho. So the idea is to always keep moving, always facing the target, looking for the angles to bring you to the fight or to move away, to keep the dynamics of the situation. You know, you do rounds of that. Okay, so you can do minute rounds, 15-second rest, another minute round. You can do like 5-6 rounds. Okay?
Avi will take over now and he will show the same exact move. How we use the rocking chair into Kapap applications. Avi is holding the handgun and he's falling back. This situation can occur from many angles. You drop to the floor, and look how Avi is using his core muscles in coming up and falling back down when he's keeping his contact with the target all the time. And he's keeping his sights or his contact with the thread. The direction goes to the same direction that the thread comes from. If Professor is the thread, Avi will sit with the thread and will be ready for that angle every time. And now he has a contact from this side, so he's responding to this area. And again, we see the same exact move that we've seen before, taken from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Based on that move, we are moving our core area and falling back and forth, keeping our balance and our target in the same line.
From Student Med, we're going to demonstrate the training for conditioning. It's very important to get to know your body is your tool, your first tool, so you get to become familiar with it. So all those exercises are designed for you to understand your balance, so you learn to keep the flow. See, because you lose your balance, you have to first regain your balance to be able to do anything else. So it's the important of these moves to always go from one move to the next, stay in balance, watching your form. So you are ready to adapt that flow to the relative position when you need it, okay, in a combative situation. So I'm going to go through a basic routine that we do at the school. So it's a stretch, but you're also moving, using the movements you're going to use in training. Shoulder roll, shoulder from shoulder to shoulder, you know, from side to side. The frog, you know, the frog moves. Yeah, very good. Okay, so you must do that all in a freestyle mode to develop that, feel comfortable with your body, because this will help you on your training. Okay, thank you, man. Another drill here for your defense on the bottom, for the escapes here, would be to train the UPA here. So first Ahmed will do by himself from side to side over the shoulder. So he'll raise his hip, going over the shoulder, reaching for the ground. So you can do sets, you know what I mean? You can do by time, like a minute each exercise. to develop your core, and this is the move that you'll use in training, okay? And now we're gonna do a variation, that's good. Luis here now, on the side control, okay? Where he'll train to do that move with the weight on top. 1, so he can do the same thing. 2, to use it with the resistance. This for conditioning, okay? You can do with your hand under too, put your arm under, can work, yes. Good. See, he's almost already escaping. Don't escape yet, yeah, just work the exercise. Good, yeah. You can switch your arms now. Go the other side, see? So these are good exercises to do. The later once you bring it to the techniques, much easier for your body to perform the technique. Very good, very good. Okay, now let's talk about the guard here. So I'm the officer, I have the weapon, okay, and I'm fighting this man here on this situation, okay? So if I try to pull the gun from the close guard, the problem is that the range is too close, so it's very easy for him to use his hands and fight for the weapon, and I might be in a very bad situation here myself. So here, to come here, it's too risky. So for small people, for women, you gotta work different angles. So here, what we can do here in this situation, my hand always in front, is to open the guard, so my feet are out of range, out of the field of fire here. Because if you shoot the guy, I'm shooting my legs too, my feet. So here, as I open, I upper, so increase the range, and now I can shoot the leg, or I can go under and shoot him on his groin. And my feet are not in the range of fire. Okay, that's the initial idea. As you develop better understanding of the guard now, would be better to have my hands blocking, open the range, okay, by escaping my hip, bring my legs up, okay, or just getting my knees together here already. So different approach you can do. So I can block him right away from making it hard for him to reach the gun, okay, because this is shielding. Now it's much better because I can increase the range, okay. Now I can shoot from here, okay. I can still shoot from here. I can lift my foot, block the arm. Now it's even better. Shoot, shoot. I have total control here. And here also, I can change. So here, I can push, and now be in a total different position now to finish this combat. So I can open the range. Okay? So just some of the jiu-jitsu ideas now with the gun, combine with Kapap to try and understand the ground so you don't pull your gun when you're in a range for him to take the gun away from you. Okay, thanks Luis. Okay, let's cover this idea here of the side control when you're training in the school or when you're on a street situation. See, when you're training, you control really tight, and you're looking for the openings for the arm, for the chokes, you're more concerned about the control. After that, you look for the finishing holds. But on the street, you can add other elements, okay? So, like some techniques that you don't use in the academy every day. So things of this nature. When you bring him up a little bit, see, you get your fist under his spine here. So you push him right on top of put the weight now. So you have the bone hurting him. So a lot of pain compliance, a lot of pain, pressure points on the street is very important, okay? So that's one thing we can do here. The other thing is to open the range, see? Because when you're tight, it's hard to strike, but when you open up, you can not only strike, we have more leverage, but you can use your knees here, okay? Use your knees on him, as well as you can strike at the same time. And as you have that, it's always good to change his angle, because here you have to always be watching this arm so this arm don't reach for your groin. So here, it's always good, it's a good choice to push him to the side so you have a better angle to strike. You can trap, okay? Now you have a total control here, okay? You can strike this guy, bang, bang, okay? Back away even, bang, kick, move out if I have to. Okay, so those are some of the street applications you can use here. Instead of just being glued with him the whole time. That's good for control, good for the school, but you're on the street, let's work the idea. Having the fist under, pushing, okay? So a lot of pain compliance here, okay? All right, opening up, use your knees, okay, change the angle, okay? All right? Okay, so you have to keep an open mind. It's not always one range. You can open up anytime you need.